It's bedtime. And by that, I mean it's time to think about maybe getting a new mattress. Your old one, it's old. It's a new year. New year, new bed. How about that? Check out Leesa. Leesa is an innovative, direct-to-consumer online mattress brand that is also socially conscious. For every 10 mattresses Leesa sells, they'll donate one to a shelter through their 110 program. But how about the bed, okay? They've got a patented universal adaptive feel, meaning that Leesa is designed for all types of sleepers. And now they've expanded their offerings to include the Leesa pillow, the Leesa blanket, the Leesa foundation, and the Leesa frame. You can try a Leesa mattress right now in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. It's available in the US, UK, Canada, and Germany. You get it online. It's free shipping, and this 100% American-made mattress ships compressed in a box right to your door. If you want to check it out first, you can check out the Leesa Dream Gallery in Soho, NYC, or Virginia Beach, and it's in over 80 West Elm stores nationwide. You can get $100 off that Leesa mattress when you go to leesa.com/bombcast.
It's Tuesday, January the 16th, 2018, and you're listening to the Giant Bombcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, room.
Kapow.
What's up, guys?
Greetings,
Zap.
podcasters.
Zap.
And salutations
Yeah.
to you.
Your hands are all just laid out on the table.
Yeah,
You're like
I'm
assuming the position.
Gronk.
Ready.
Gronk?
No, what? I don't know. I'm just making noises over here.
Wait, I thought that was, isn't that a dude?
I don't
It
know.
is. It's on his can.
Oh, what does Gronk mean to you?
It's garbage, like a garbage dump.
Okay.
A guy who showed up in wrestling once.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He told me to not eat Tide Pods recently.
Did he?
Yeah,
Oh, was that him?
I thank him for
Okay.
that.
Fucking someone had to finally come
I saw-
out
Yep.
against it, I guess.
They do look delicious. Oh,
I guess so.
Why are people eating? Oh,
I don't know. I finally saw a funny Tide Pod joke.
I
this
mean,
morning.
why do people do anything?
Finally.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
I know. This is straight up poison that they're ingesting.
well, you know, but they do it for the views.
Are they swallowing
Not
it?
that important.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Are they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
People aren't really doing it.
Do you
right?
bite into it or do you let it dissolve?
I think it started as like a military thing. I think like you have Tide
What?
Pods. I don't know.
Kind of a hazing ritual?
You're making
Kind of, I
shit
think.
up.
I don't know.
It's like a code red.
Yeah, what's your favorite flavor
Aw,
of detergent?
Code Red.
Oh, definitely like, yeah, Tide Pod Code Red is actually really good because
Sure.
it's a good cherry. But Blackout's pretty good.
Cool Ranch.
Blackout's like it's grape.
Sugar
Which
free.
you
yeah.
wouldn't think from the name,
Of
but yeah.
course. It's
yeah.
one with the ginseng.
Mhm.
Okay.
People are now starting to make like pseudo Tide Pods, like cooking with gelatin and putting Jello inside a container with the two little stripes on
Oh,
top.
they're
of it.
cheating.
Yeah, well, they're kind of making edible.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's recipes out there if you want to do it. I'm curious if they have alcohol in them.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know because
If you're going to those lengths to make Jello,
Portable
May as well have
Jello
fun with
shot.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
I mean, I just like Jello, but honestly, if you're going to make Jello, you might as well make Jello shots.
Yeah.
You're way into horse hooves.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're delicious.
What's your favorite?
Yeah. My favorite horse hoof, like an orange
Okay.
or like a cherry,
Uh-huh.
probably, are the my two go-tos.
First time I've heard of this. What is a horse hoof?
Jello.
It's gelatin is made from ground up horse hooves.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I
What?
put that so far back in my head. Completely forgot. Wow.
Boiled bones and shit like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gelatin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like me a good
Nice
horse
gelatinous cube
That's right.
that gets you wasted.
hoof. Those are never nice. Never met a nice one.
Nothing friendly about that.
All right, fine.
Hello, what's going on?
That's fucking. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
how's everybody's weekend?
it's good.
Yeah,
Cool.
Long
Yeah,
weekend.
we had a nice long weekend.
Long weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
MLK Day in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Rory, how was your weekend?
Good. Long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
72 whole hours.
Didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Just kind of relaxed. Slept a bunch. I got up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. Wow. Yeah.
What?
It was great. That's awesome.
How old are you?
38.
How's that possible?
I don't know, man. Just
I can't
sleep
sleep
till 1,
I can't sleep past 7:30.
goddamn. When I have a 3-day weekend, the problem is like getting up this morning was really tough.
Yeah,
I
same
always, whenever I get, especially a week off, like during a Christmas break, my body goes from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. just naturally when I'm off for that long. Like I'd stay up all night playing games and I'd sleep till whenever I can. But even a 3-day weekend, I kind of get out there too. So it
Messes
was good.
with you.
Did some stuff around the house. Had a good time.
Exciting.
Yeah.
We cleaned some carpets, rolled them out. Or rugs, I should say.
Way to
Rolled
party.
out the carpets.
Yeah, watch out.
You animal.
Yeah, well, we have a hardwood floor in our bedroom, and it's above our roommate downstairs. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
it's been kind of my office chair rolling around. It's probably been driving him nuts, so we had to put down a rug. And we did that, and we put down another rug, and played some video games. And
Put a rug on a rug?
No, we have a hardwood. So we
Okay.
put a rug over that. And we have
Right.
another rug in the other room.
Okay, in another room.
Do you have
I
a
thought you were,
Multiple
like, just
rugs,
layering.
but never no rug layers.
You
Yeah.
got them for free, too. The guy said he bought them for $300. He got shipped 2 of these rugs. And he was moving, so he gave them both for free to us.
3 rugs.
On Craigslist, so
Yeah. Free rug's the best rug.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
Free
It's
rugs.
like a shag rug.
No,
short
it's,
hair?
it's fairly
Oh, that can
thick
get caught in
is
the
thing,
wheels
but
of the chair.
The only problem is that it has a crosshatch pattern on it, which kind of makes it tough to roll around. So I might get one out of the rug.
Get one of
Exciting,
those- yeah.
exciting stuff. I know.
Mo rugs, mo problems.
Get a plastic
Yeah.
mat.
Yeah, get
for
one of those
your-
plastic mats,
yeah.
put it over the rugs.
Yeah,
then you got
maybe.
hardwood, rug, plastic mat,
I might do that.
Chair.
Yep.
chair. Yeah.
And Rory.
Yeah.
Finally on top.
We're
It's a five layer dip.
shifting everything around.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, what you been up to?
Oh, I don't know. It's just I didn't really do too much over the weekend. Played some video games. And gosh, what else?
Of what kind?
Of the unreleased kind.
Oh.
So yeah, yeah.
Huh.
And
Tell me, what can you say about
it's not this.
What
it's
you played.
It's a game that's not currently available.
That's it? That's all you,
It's so bad.
that's all you can tell me?
Yeah. And yeah, so I did a fair amount of that. Hung around. I got on a weird fucking Bullwinkle kick.
Nice.
And dug out some DVDs.
Rocky
wait.
and Bullwinkle?
Yeah.
You just
Oh,
had
man.
DVDs
Not the
lying
movie.
around?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's,
As one does.
That movie was the beginning of Robert De Niro's like slide into.
Yeah,
I'll
like-
take whatever
wait,
role
wait,
possible.
if not the beginning, then it was definitely like
Are you what? Was
Yeah.
there, was there a
Robert-
live action?
There's a
Rocky
live action.
Bullwinkle?
Yeah. And he plays
No.
Boris.
Really?
As far
right?
as I'm concerned, that never happened.
There's a point in his
don't look it up.
career where he
Too late.
decided to stop doing like method acting. I want to be a serial killer
Yeah.
on set for 4 months.
Now he's
I have
just doing
grandkids
meth
now,
acting.
and here we're gonna do.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
he's
gonna
also-
get everybody paid.
He's got
Analyze
that,
this,
He's got
analyze
that. He's
that.
got his Tribeca film company, which
Sure.
My understanding is he uses those shit jobs to fund his.
I'm
his
saying he
art
didn't want to
film
be
stuff.
like a hardcore method actor
but
because
yeah.
he had grandkids. And
Yes.
like, all of a sudden,
Also that.
Rocky and Bullwinkle was pretty surprising
Get
casting
pa-
at the time.
Get paid as much as he can.
It is
in the time
really
he has.
it is really fucking nuts for a thing that came out between like 59 and 62, 63 somewhere in there. Like the level at which Bullwinkle is operating, like vocabulary wise, and like for like what is ostensibly like a kids show.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking nuts.
I don't
Like it
know.
is very
I can't
like
say that I have like fond memories of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Were you watching that proper or like the Simon and Peabody stuff?
all of it. Yeah, it's all in
that
there.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
so like
full episodes.
give me
yeah.
up to speed. Like what am I not remembering?
Well, I mean, like a lot of that stuff. If you think, if you take Boris and Natasha as like the Russian stand-ins they're meant to be,
Yeah.
like that whole thing is like this weird fucking Cold War crazy. Like they're trying to get Moose and Squirrel because they're inventing shit, and fucking Boris is wearing a wire and transmitting shit back to his secret room full of shadowy dudes, and like it's all this weird spy stuff that
Yeah.
happens kind of around the edges of it. And then they're doing like, here's Bullwinkle as Mr. Know-It-All telling you how to return things to a store in like a funny way. And then also like one where he's describing like the Peace Corps.
Do you think at that
And
time,
it's just-
like, during the Cold War or whatever, like those type of villains were like the ultimate bad guys? And
Oh, yeah.
that was just like an easy.
This is yeah,
stand-in.
like
Cuban Missile Crisis.
yeah,
Yeah,
th-
right,
yeah,
right.
exactly. So this is like the Red Threat,
yeah.
not in its fullest form, but definitely still something that existed. So like that is the backdrop for a lot of this stuff. But then also it's like goofy, just like weird, hey, we got a football team, and
Right.
Boris is trying to foil it. Like it's long running stories for the most part that will last like half a season or something like that.
Seriously?
Yeah,
I didn't know
like,
that. I thought
it's
they were
like-
like 5-minute shorts.
They
for-
are, but
okay.
like it's a continuing story
Is it?
the whole time, and then the other stuff breaks it all up into like half-hour episodes, basically. But
What exactly do Moose and Squirrel have in their possession that some Soviet spies would actually
Obsidian?
want? What?
I don't know. I didn't watch enough of it to
some
remember
kind of-
exactly what it is. But Bullwinkle invents something that
kind of 60s
Obsidian.
unobtainium.
that the Pottsylvanians want very badly. I think I might just fucking sit down and fucking marathon through
The whole thing?
the whole thing.
Wait a
cap
minute.
one of these days.
Wait a minute.
You'll cap it off with the
They went.
Yeah.
They went full Roger Rabbit with this thing.
Yeah.
Like full, like
The
animated
movie,
characters
yeah.
with
Yeah,
live
I
action
never
actors.
saw it. I
Who
never
was
saw
Natasha? It was
Let's see.
I want to say it was
I'm gonna say Renee Russo. That's my
I
guess.
think-
In
I
my
think
head,
I
that's
picture
who
it
it
right.
definitely
Picture-
has
yep,
to
that's-
be.
Yep,
That's
totally
about
her.
the time.
Great. Okay.
Totally her.
Yeah, like that era, like that's that role. That's a Renee Russo ass role right there.
Piper Perabo also in it.
Sure.
Wow.
That's just a good
Oh,
name.
that is-
Hot off Coyote Ugly.
I was gonna say Coyote
Writing-
Ugly's Piper Perabo.
writing that fame.
What year did it come out?
2000.
Yes, 2000.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was in the 7th grade. No, I was in the 6th grade when that came out. Yeah, it was a hot release for all the 6th
Jeez,
graders.
man.
Just a baby.
Did not know there was such an age differential here. Good God, man.
Yeah, I was not working at a movie theater at that point, obviously, but I was still like friends with a bunch of people who did. So it was definitely like, yeah, that was still in my phase of like I'm seeing a ton of movies, but even that one, I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to show up Thursday night at midnight to see this movie for free. You guys go on ahead.
They got you into the
catch
first
you next
screen
time.
stuff like Thursday at midnight because that was
Before it was employees only.
oh okay.
It wasn't.
They started
yeah.
selling those tickets.
Yeah,
around
now
the screen
now
time.
now they're like
Now it's
you know,
Thursday at 8 p.m. I think.
right or like East Coast time, right?
What's
'Cause it's
weird
like-
is
yeah.
they stopped doing Wednesday openings. Like for a long time, it was like the big blockbuster would all come out on Wednesday night for a few years.
I want to say that still happens every
the,
now and again.
the Wednesday thing, like before it was the blockbuster wanting a good long. I think we talked about this before. It's not, but the Wednesday before the Wednesday thing was a blockbuster wants a good long opening weekend. It was the like pretty racist. We're gonna open the urban movie on a Wednesday because we don't want trouble, quote unquote, at the theaters.
Well, for a while there was like every big movie, like every big blockbuster, AAA, Star Wars kind of thing would open on Wednesday. But now I think they're obsessed with that 3-day opening weekend number.
Yeah.
200 million is like kind of the benchmark now. So
And now that they're selling like their midnight tickets for like 8 or 9 p.m. the day before or whatever it is, like
and you can't even like apparently it's a nightmare. Have you tried to get an opening ticket for like Star Wars or anything like that? Apparently Black Panther's selling out everywhere.
No.
I nowadays just wait for like a week and go to the draft house and try to find a decent ticket.
Let's do the drive-in, man.
Let's do it. Let's do
do
it.
it.
Let's go.
I became acquainted with the movie theater people you knew. Or
Yep.
I think there was overlap there.
yeah, definitely,
Like right at the tail end of like the last one of them working at a theater.
Okay,
I
yeah.
got into exactly one like special
yeah,
like day before the movie came out screening. It was fucking the first Transformers.
great.
Like,
Yeah.
well, this is a cool experience.
Came out ahead on that one.
but also,
Still the best Transformers. I mean,
sure.
it's better than Transformers 2 for sure. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw the last night. Maybe that
I did not. I didn't.
weird, huh?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a Transformers movie?
That is the most recent. That's the
Yeah,
Mark
I think
Wahlberg
so.
one that just came out
Was it like
recently.
fifth
I think there have been 2 Mark Wahlberg ones. I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
This
think
one.
so.
This one's like an offshoot of the.
They're making a Bumblebee fucking movie now.
Right. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
With
They're
John
trying.
Cena.
They're doing what the fucking Star
With John
Wars
Cena?
people are
Okay.
doing. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. They're doing what the Star Wars people are doing, where they've got their main movies and then their character-driven offshoots.
A Transformers tale.
But it's like fucking fuck off.
I watched
Yeah.
the last night on a plane. I didn't like put it on. I just watched somebody's.
I mean,
headlines.
you're captive
So watch it
audience.
without.
The story that you're building in your head, I find,
way
with a lot of those plane movies,
Yeah.
is always going to end up better than what the fucking actual story is.
Yep.
So
Better off.
So therefore, last night was not bad. That's a pretty good movie
I think that's a good way to watch movies that are probably shitty.
with Marky Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just skipped to the end. Virgin has that slide where you can go to the
Oh,
very end of
yeah.
movies. So just like, all
Just
right,
really
I want
just
to
like, I want to see how this one wraps up. Let's,
trying to-
let's watch the fight at the end. There's a fight at the end. There's probably a fight at the end.
Aren't you trying to burn as much time as you can though?
Yeah, but I mean,
There's a lot of movie endings
Virgin
to
has.
watch.
That's
Just-
true.
yeah.
If they're on Virgin,
Oh,
they have,
if
like,
they're free. If you're not, paying
yeah,
for the
they're all
movies,
free on
then
Virgin
yeah,
for the most
sure.
part. So.
Or if you have a creeper that's like looking over your shoulder, like I am,
find the
you can just
hardcore
like
porn.
find that.
There's some
Well,
adult
please
stuff
find
on
that,
Virgin, like only mackerel. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've got like
they have
some
a warning
scary-ass
like
movies and stuff.
please be aware of people around you and children, and in case any they're unedited. They're all like
Yeah.
it's not anything too explicit, but
Yeah, they're not showing actual action. Yeah. You got to bring that on an iPad if you want that. Yeah.
Jeff, you play any games you can talk about?
Yeah. I played Stand Out, which is a virtual reality battle royale game.
What?
What?
There are a few of these.
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, there are a few of these kicking around. This one seems to be the one that is starting to emerge as something of an early phase. Sure.
Is it standing out?
Yeah, it's
Standing
stand. I'd say it's a standout.
$25. Stand Out VR Battle Royale.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
That logo. I feel like I've seen this logo. somewhere before.
The text treatment for the logo and stuff like that is, let's call it, somewhat familiar. If you've played PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or looked at the logo at any point. The menu music when you launch it is vaguely like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta see what they're going for. But it's whatever. It's not like Battlegrounds invented that fucking concept.
No, sure.
It's neat. It's goofy. It's not amazing. I haven't played like 1 or 2 rounds of it. Like I want to spend some more time with it.
Is it the same kind of setup? I mean, are you moving to different locations?
You are parachuting. You're holding your wrist up and turning it to you like a watch, and that's making the map appear.
Okay.
And you see where you're standing, where the circle is, all that other stuff.
How's movement though?
that's
first person.
That's the
entire
big
time?
thing.
It's first person, and you are moving a joystick to move.
Okay.
And then it's got, by default, it's got the motion, the
Stutter-
click turning.
stutter
You can
stuff.
turn that off if you want, but I find that's actually on
better.
for a reason.
It's better.
Because you can turn your head and kind of just look in any direction, walk in any direction. And so the movement is goofy, but it's like, for VR movement, it's fine.
Everybody's on the same shitty playing field, so
I think it would be a little different between Vive and Oculus, because with an Oculus, it's an analog stick and you can kind of inch it a little bit if you want, but that probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll probably try it on a Vive here later. Working scopes in the guns
but,
and stuff.
I'm looking at this footage here, and like the raising the gun to your face to aim stuff seems like it might actually be kind of awesome. And there's like a guy like in this footage leaning around a corner to take pot shots.
That's what it is, and like your movement speed is determined by whether you're holding a gun up or not, which I didn't realize at first. I was like, why am I going so slow? And then as soon as you lower the gun, you start going a faster speed.
Kind of a neat idea.
Yeah. And you have to put, you have to like load magazines into the weapon and then rack them. And then
cool.
so like I found a P90.
Oh wow, yeah. Like I'm looking at this footage here of him grabbing a pistol and like shoving shoving the clip in there.
So I don't know, but I don't know if you have a backpack or what, because like I could, it's like you find a weapon and like 3 magazines sitting there. It's like, well, I grab one and put it in, and then like, am I supposed to just grab a second one and walk with it? Because I didn't see an inventory or anything like that. But like I said, I didn't play too much of it. I just kind of got my feet wet a little bit. But every weapon you cock it differently. So like I had to stare at this P90 for like a full minute, because like parts of it will light up when you get your other hand over it. But you can also, if you hit the wrong button, it just grips it with the other hand. So you kind of get a steadier aim with it or whatever. And so I'm like trying to figure out like, wait a minute. Okay, so this is probably the piece I need to slide back, but I can't get it to slide. And then finally got it.
It's like that fucking firing range thing I played on like Vive launch day or whatever.
Yeah.
Like staring at this gun trying to figure out.
This is a little bit more simple than that, I guess. But yes, like not entirely dissimilar. It's fucking goofy.
It looks like it's got a fair amount of jank to it.
Yeah, totally. There's, I guess, like they are continuing to work on it. It is in early access.
Oh, it is.
And so they've got like a graphics overhaul that they rolled out and then I guess unrolled out because of some problem it was causing.
Broke shit.
Yeah. So they've got a beta branch with that on it, which I did not try, but I don't know. It's not like you're kind of Skyrimming your way up mountains and shit like that. Like the movement is really weird. But
did you encounter many people or?
I encountered one.
Right.
It's got 315 reviews on Steam. So
yeah, it seems like it's, and yeah, I was, it's been out for a little bit and I still found other human players, which is more than a lot of other multiplayer VR games.
Right. So how many people were in the game?
I want to say it'll show a player count kind of in front of your face. It'll say like number of players remaining.
Right.
And the first time it popped up, it said 28.
Okay. I was going to say,
but I don't know.
Getting 100 people in VR.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if it was 100 at the start or how many. It didn't say. It didn't have a starting number.
Or if it fills with bots or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait.
What?
The Steam description ends with the phrase, "This is Battle Royale."
You know,
What the fuck?
There's another
periods
game that
between it?
came out. There's another game coming out that specifically has the word Battlegrounds in the title too.
That's just
Yeah,
public
that's
domain.
Paladins.
Isn't it?
No, it's
Yeah.
a different one. There's another one that just like
What's that?
kind of
This
announced
is
the mode
like
for it.
public domain now.
Well,
isn't it?
I'm sure the phrase battle royale is generic enough
Yeah.
that nobody trademarked it. But like, isn't that literally PUBG's tagline?
yeah.
This is battle royale.
I don't think it is anymore.
Oh, did they get
but
rid of it?
I'm not sure, but
Huh.
but yeah, it's
They're not so royale anymore.
I don't know. What a weird world.
Have you seen
Does
a
it-
ton of those types of games in VR coming out?
sure
More
there's-
more than a yeah. It seems like there's a few.
Yeah.
Does this game have?
Got to be a lot of people trying to cash in.
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Are there any tracksuits in this?
There is loot. I did not see like a
Chuck Taylors.
marketplace or anything like that. But but I after my first match, I got a ski mask. So
Cool. Baklava?
yeah, sure.
One of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
So-
baklava.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It didn't seem like I said. It looks kind of assy. There are elements of it that are super rough, but that gives it a weird charm in a way that I kind of got into. I don't know that that's not me recommending it to people or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
But
Looks
I
like an
don't know.
interesting novelty.
it's something I want to spend a little bit more time with,
Yeah.
and see if it's actually cool or if it's just a weird little novelty. That like benefits by just how janky it is. Like you're parachuting out of the plane at the beginning, and if
How's
you,
that feel? Yeah.
it's silly. I mean, well, if you're the type of person that if you look down and see no ground there, if that causes problems for you, that's exactly what it is.
We should
So,
have Vinny play this.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But the thing is you see every other player parachuting out around you, and they're all just in a full standing position with a parachute attached to them because everyone is standing there in VR.
Right.
T-pose or
Yeah.
No.
T-pose.
I mean, arms are you see arms move, I guess.
that sounds like charmingly bad.
Yeah,
It's really dumb.
That stuff's rough, but it's got a weird charm to it. I'd say that makes me want to mess around with it a little bit more.
Did you guys get anybody get one of those new crates out of PUBG yet?
I did.
I got my first one. Went to
Yeah.
open it, realized I needed a key.
Yep.
Oh, you got to pay for the keys.
Did not
that's right.
buy the key because
But
I thought we were past
something so
I
good.
thought we were past paid keys as a society.
No, they brought them back.
started.
They're like
I know.
paid keys.
Yeah.
That's something we want to make money off of as well. Yeah, because
I mean, there are just better ways to do loot boxes.
well, does
even.
Counter-Strike still do it? Did they eliminate it completely, or I guess like none of us play Counter-Strike often enough to really answer
I'm
this
not
question.
sure.
do we?
Like, but Dota did away with keys like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
like it's
but I want to say because like
does it now too.
Which one?
I think Rocket League does it to some extent as well. They still give away some of the toppers and shit like that. But
Right.
there's an option to buy key like things. I don't know. I haven't.
yeah.
done
I'm not complaining about like their intent to monetize at
Sure.
all. It's just specifically this like abstracted layer of actions you have to like. Oh, I got a
Right.
thing, but then I have to go buy another thing to actually open it. Like that's just
Yeah.
a crappy
Yep.
experience.
Yeah. Yes. And then there's like this additional layer that I was made to understand where, so they converted all those old Gamescom keys into the same key that you can buy now, these early bird keys.
Oh,
And so those are on the marketplace for like $8.
The
new
chests? Or
No,
the-
the keys. What? But the existing keys are $250. If you buy a new key out of the game directly from the game, it's $250.
okay.
But if you buy another user's keys, that price was going from $7 to $850 over the weekend. And my understanding is that if you were to open a crate with one of those keys that had been around for a while, you would be able to market the item immediately.
Huh.
So if you got something that was rare and you wanted to make sure you sold it before like the marketplace got flooded with people that are waiting that week of grace period or whatever it is,
okay.
you could get out there and fucking let the whales feast. That is my rough understanding of it. I did not
feed on their hat krill.
I did not get too deep into that end of it because I was like, man, this just seems like a fucking real sad fucking racket.
I really only brought this up because Matt Kessler got an $1,800 item out of one
That's
of those
ridiculous.
chests. So,
Wow.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know.
Matt, what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Sell it and buy Dota hats. You know just what you want to do.
Yeah.
None of us are playing Dota anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, this hat market is a game unto itself, some say.
Yeah. Think about the prestige of wearing that hoodie, though.
That's true. As someone who is wearing $50 worth of tracksuit every time I play that game,
Yeah.
I can tell you that It's a good fucking track.
And those were found.
Actually,
Were those found items, or did you buy them?
I got them out of crates.
Okay.
That I paid money for.
Right.
Right. I mean, not to harp on that golden courier I got years ago, but do you know how many compliments I got on that thing? It was a lot.
Oh, I get zero. I have fucking voice chat turned off because I'm not an idiot. So I've never heard anyone compliment my tracksuit. Actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that yellow tracksuit in Battlegrounds fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking, I'm the
Neon.
Gorton's fucking fisherman walking around, which is like cool in its own way, but I would much rather have a sick fucking tracksuit than this thing. Like, oh, well, I'm ready if it rains, I guess. It's not a great look.
Even on the desert map? Seems like it would blend in a little bit better there.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. But it's $50 worth of tracksuit. That's
right.
There you go.
55 maybe, something like
You
that.
got it out of a box?
Yeah, it's two pieces that I got out of boxes.
But you
yeah.
didn't buy
yeah.
the
yeah.
clothing specifically.
I could right now sell those and basically have all the money back I put into any crates and then some.
And then some.
Like I'm
making money.
playing with I'm fucking tracksuiting with the house's money right now.
Playing the game.
Yeah.
Playing the real game.
Yeah, the real game.
Right.
Game of life. You play anything else?
So
it sounded like you put a lot of time into the other thing.
Yeah, I did some other stuff. No, I don't know. I've fooled around with Street Fighter this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's probably the big release that we can talk about
Speak
this
for
week.
yourself, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've also
this
been playing some of it.
Yeah, quite a bit actually.
For a time.
Yeah, for a spell, not as much as I wanted to. Yeah, they gave us a dev build that was like offline setting it to try any online stuff, but they did let us try out some of the new arcade modes. So this is arcade edition, right?
Okay.
So they put in a bunch of like single player like arcade modes that are traditional to the series, and you can actually go through like the entire history of Street Fighter. So it starts out Street Fighter 1. You can play through that roster. Essentially,
It's weird.
Even though there's no Sagat at the end.
Yeah.
Is that just
Yes.
a character lineup?
Yeah,
like
it
they
is.
didn't do anything else?
They don't
Right.
change the look of the characters or the
Nope.
move set or anything like that. It's just you're taking these Street Fighter V characters into this. They have a
mode.
plane flying and it says the name of the place that
Yep.
you're flying to, but it's the
Okay.
current announcer
Yep.
saying USA or
And like
Japan.
same old Street Fighter V backgrounds and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which a lot of those are
a lot of the stages. Yeah.
references to older Street Fighter
Well,
games
yeah,
anyway.
sure.
So
Exactly.
it's,
But yeah, everything from the original Street Fighter, all the way through 5, I guess.
they pick one of the alpha games. It's like, what are the routes? It's like Street Fighter 2, 3.
But then they
Alpha
actually
2.
like say what
they list the
canon
chronological
is,
order.
the
It's
chronological
like it's
order.
Street Fighter 1, this is 1.
Yep.
Street Fighter Alpha, this is 2.
Right.
Street Fighter 2 is 3. 4 is 4.
4 is 4? I forget.
No. 5 is 4.
Right. In any case,
4 is 5 and
in any case, you can do
3
all of
is
those.
6.
So it's just a lineup of the characters that were popular in those particular games or whatever.
that happen to be on the current
if
roster.
they're in the roster.
But then
of
even like
course.
one of the Street Fighter 1 characters wasn't like he's like a background character like Zeku or whatever that guy
Zeku?
he was not a playable character prior to this, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't.
So
But
he's
yeah,
on the Street Fighter 1 selectable list.
Okay.
Even though he's technically
Oh, that's
not.
right. Actually, yeah, because
Yeah.
you can only select certain characters
Right.
to go through.
Yes.
Street Fighter 1 is just Ken and Ryu, right?
Well, they fight against characters that were Balrog and
don't know
made
if
their
I
way
ever-
into the game in
I don't know
different
if I ever
ways.
played Street Fighter 1.
Eagles
Yeah.
and
It's not great. It doesn't play super well.
It does not play super well.
So your award for completing these, if you want to go through it, is a ton of fight money, I guess. Which
A ton of fight money or
well,
some fight
in
money?
comparison to
Okay.
like the do 10 cross ups for like 100 fight monies
Yeah,
or something like that. Also, you get some like special artwork or whatever. But that's the gist of the single player stuff. As far as the game enhancements, and I can't really speak to like I don't know if they've released any patch notes or anything like that. It's really tough to.
I think they're out
They
there.
have, but they're kind of vague.
Yeah.
Regardless, yeah. The big thing is everybody's got a new V trigger, which is a big deal. it's essentially adding like a new move, to a character. So I mean, picture like Ryu without a fireball or something like that. All of a sudden, giving him a fireball.
This list refers to it as a V Trigger 2.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
you select it.
They're selectable.
When you select the character. So you select V Trigger 1 or V Trigger 2.
Okay.
I think my favorite so far is it's kind of low key, but it's Zangief's. It's low key in that it only makes his spinning pile drivers do more damage. But as soon as you activate it, there's like an announcer just like hyping shit up. And as soon as you grab somebody, the place blows up. It's great.
I heard Zangief did like, I saw some headline where he did like 470 damage in one move or something.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage after that, for sure. But it's been fun going through and checking out everybody's V triggers and trying to figure out like, wow, that's really going to change up a lot of matchups. So it's a huge deal. And from what I've read, and just casually browsing my feed, checking in on people that are really, really into Street Fighter still, it seems like really positive changes. So I'm gonna check it out for a little bit and probably get my ass handed to me and then bounce for
another 8 months or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Is it? Have they announced the full roster? Or I'm sure it's leaked.
They
Or
have
not.
Yeah,
Right.
They announced. They just got out in front of it and announced it all at once
Exactly.
this time.
But the big character, the only character that they're bringing out right now is Sakura out of those 6. So they have
that's
announced
right. Yeah,
dates for
like
the
Blanca
rest
and
of them.
Cody and Scott. Right. Yeah, we've talked about that.
Right. But yeah, it seems like positive changes. New V triggers is super significant. That's going to change up a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to check that out.
Here's my thing. I know it's like probably way more relevant in a gameplay context for what the character needs and all this other stuff. I can't speak to that on a competitive level, but I think Ryu's donkey kick is lame. I've always felt that way.
I think I'm with you. Unless it I remember in Cross Tekken it was really good because it actually bounced him off the wall.
Oh,
that
sure.
that was
Right.
pretty badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, some
Like
characters
it just
got
always
new
seemed like a
moves and
dumb
shit.
move. Like so seeing people fucking excited, like, oh, he's got the fucking donkey kick back. I'm like, this is not a game I am connected to in any way, shape, or form.
I was never a big fan.
Yeah.
But I can see the allure.
Yeah,
It's a donkey kick. That sounds funny.
it does.
It sounds funny.
It does.
Did you mess with this extra battle mode at all?
No.
Looks like there's.
You have to pay fight money to play it.
Oh, yeah.
to
no,
play it at all?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
this does not mention
minuscule.
that. That's a bummer.
Maybe they changed it. Yeah, I did mess around with that.
Says
So
a
you
new
fight
mode.
like an NPC style character.
So it's a new mode that lets you obtain unique costumes, titles, fight money. And
It's weird. So they'll give you like 4 challenges that you have to do. You have to pay to go into each one. And bear in mind, it was only like 10 fight money or something like that.
Oh,
It was
okay.
it was nothing. I thought it was going to be a ton. Anyway, so you go through one of them and you get like a gem or something like that. And then you've got to go through like 4 to collect all 4 of these gems or something. And then you unlock whatever they're trying to.
Yeah,
So this is up on the
pitch
PC now, but the servers were down for maintenance when I tried it this morning, and
So,
the,
like, all
the
that stuff
screen
was,
that
like,
it displayed
locked out
about the
to
extra
you.
battle, but the screen it said about the extra battle stuff seemed to imply that you would get the gems and get a fight money reward.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I wonder, I wonder if it's just like now you'll have the money to buy whatever costumes
Mm-hmm.
or titles you want, or if there's specific rewards that are tied to this mode, or
I don't know.
that stuff seemed unclear because they said one thing, but that menu in game seems to imply the opposite.
Gotcha.
So I don't know.
I will say that it is random whether or not you get that goddamn gem, which is
What?
Yeah, seriously. I just got a fight money reward one time and not the gem. So,
Well, great.
I don't know. That's not anything I was looking for.
Yeah, I only mentioned that mode because it looks like you can get a Beautiful Joe costume
Yeah,
for Rashid, which is kind of awesome.
That
Yeah.
does sound pretty cool.
You can also get a Captain Commando costume for
Yeah.
Nash.
So are you looking? There was
looks
like
great.
was there like a big costume leak recently?
No, this is
'Cause-
on the PlayStation
Okay,
blog.
because I thought I saw someone saying that there's a God Hand costume in this game now.
I haven't seen
or
anything
coming
leaked.
or coming to this game at some point, implied by a leak or
Could be
something
cool.
like a Gene costume. I don't know who it was for. But
I don't know. Just like any of the costumes that they're pitching to me, yes, they look great, but you're going to make me pay $4 for them, and a majority of them I'm not going to be able to get with fight money.
right.
The bundles don't seem like a good bundle.
No, right now.
You
So
might be saving $10 or something like that.
a lot of the costumes in that game that are for sale are not listed. So if you're looking at the Steam version of the game, they list some DLC and like Warframe. A lot of free to play games do this, which tells you something about how they're thinking about Street Fighter V these days. Is that like the big bundles show up on Steam on the DLC page, all that other stuff, but there are a bunch of one-off individual purchases that do not.
Right.
That just like are in-game purchases that only pop up the "Hey, buy this right now" screen with real money and all this other stuff. And even just totaling up the stuff that was bundled up, it was over $100 of DLC. It was like it's $20 for the season 1 pass. It's another 30, I think, for the season 2 pass.
That might be right.
Which obviously, if you're buying Arcade Edition now, it's $40 for
40
1
bucks,
and 2.
yeah.
So that's
but still, like no additional costumes or anything like that.
right. And then there are costume packs that are like $20 or $30 up there. They have the soundtrack
and
for 12.
They're still split between between characters. Like you'd have to get like 2 bundles in order to get like the entire cast or something.
Right. So multiple bundles of costumes. Like there's a holiday costume pack up there now that was like 10. But it was, I think
Got that summer loving one. With some bikinis.
Yeah, that one. The total load for just the stuff that they're bundling up and offering probably at some kind of discount was over $100.
It's ridiculous. And then
then in game there's way more because none of the stages or titles or any of the other stuff that you could theoretically buy.
There's still a shit ton of stages that you can only buy with like money or whatever. I think that maybe the stages you can still get with fight
You still
money.
get them with fight money. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, a lot of the costumes and stuff still like premium.
Aren't those stages like crazy expensive? Also,
7?
Compared to a lot of those
shit,
stuff, I don't know what the exact prices are, but I ever feel like every time I load that game up and go like, man, I'd like to see this stage.
Yeah.
I always look at the number and go, man, fuck that. I'm never gonna do this.
Seriously, yeah. Even if it is, it's certainly a ridiculous amount with like fight money or something like that.
how much of this is paid? Is it? Are you only paying for the new characters? Like, is the rest of Arcade Edition free?
If you don't, there's no purchase upgrade to Arcade Edition. It downloads the new UI and all the modes and stuff like that. That's all free.
So you get everything but the season 3 characters for free if you own the game already.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
I can't. This article does not mention that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's if you buy the Arcade Edition, you get season 1 and 2. I'm not sure about the season
like
3
or even what the costume situation is. I assume you don't get the season 3 stuff.
It didn't. They just sent a retail copy over today.
Okay.
I looked in there, and there was nothing about like season 3 characters. So it just said, it had a download code for season 1.
Actually, that was my question. Is there a code in there for
code? Yes,
stuff?
Not on disc.
I wonder if it's exactly the same disc they pressed up last time, or if they've patched it up most
so
of the
that
way.
disc release comes
Probably.
with seasons 1 and 2, is what you're saying, but not 3.
Correct. I think I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's like
I guess
the base game didn't come with season 1,
Sure,
it's
that
in
makes
line
sense.
with that.
That makes sense.
And you should be able to get Sakura right away.
This mentions that she's free for a week.
But otherwise she was like 100,000 fight money. I think. I don't know. That was on the dev build or whatever. But I don't know. Jeff mentioned it. Like every time that he goes in there, you're presented with like all these options to like further buy stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. A lot of those price tags are just a little out of my reach. Both in wanting to plunk down money or fight money or whatever.
Like they're not
there's so much
fucking
that
going...
I want to see and like and enjoy about the game, but there's so many barriers to really enjoying that stuff.
Yeah.
This is a shitty question, but at the end of all this, I was going to ask, like, how much do you guys actually want to keep playing Street Fighter V?
I do. I really want to keep playing Street Fighter, but every time I do, it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, Jason and I played a little bit last week, and I feel like
new build.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah,
and by the end of it, I felt like I kind of had my fill.
Okay.
Like the new character that is tied to Rose, however, with her orb, which I had not seen before.
Very execution heavy.
Seemed fun.
Yep, she seems neat. Yeah. All the new characters that they've added, especially in like I think season 2, I think are really kind of stand out. Really good stuff going on with that game, and it seems like they're listening to a lot of people's complaints about maybe stand, jab, anti-airs that they might be drilling down a little too deep, but they're addressing that stuff in like this build.
I've seen some people say that the way it is now, like it's a slightly slower game.
Okay.
As of Arcade Edition,
bring it back to neutral for me. That's fine.
Which seems potentially interesting, I guess, but I don't know. I like I said, Jason and I played it for about an hour, and I was like, yeah, this is neat.
Yep.
And
I definitely played
next year.
A lot more since then. Like I had a great time going through going into training mode and trying out everybody's new V-triggers and stuff and finding situations to use them and stuff. It seems like super positive changes on that front.
How are the menus?
It's
brand new menus.
There's actually really cool there's a new like animated intro to like all the fights.
Like the versus screen, basically.
Essentially where it kind of zooms in and there's lights flashing and shit. It brings up the date at one point, which is kind of strange, like today's date.
Which I assume matters in replays. It'll hopefully show you what date the fight took place and not just today's date every time. Because we were playing it just like it's the same thing every single fucking time.
I mean, it's like half a second. But I don't know, for whatever reason. It's far more flashy. I like
silly.
it a lot.
Also, like speaking of weird titles and stuff, the screenshot of the arcade edition or the arcade mode.
They got bonus stages.
The caption for Ryu's dialogue lists him as SF3 Ryu.
You remember?
Like,
SF3
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just,
everyone's favorite.
right. It's everybody's favorite version.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention bonus stages. I got to play one of those. It was kind of cool that they brought those
Get
back.
to beat up a car.
I did not beat up a car, but I beat up some barrels.
Okay.
And there was a
You
guy.
got to start somewhere.
There was a guy throwing those barrels at me.
You got to work your way up to the car.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to check that out. But yeah. Positive
great.
changes. I still, man.
Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah. Still a big break in my heart.
Matt Rory's thrilled about Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about it. Sorry.
Sorry, man.
I've never played it. I haven't played since Street Fighter 2.
Also played a little bit, very tiny bit of the Dragon Ball.
I was about to ask if
Oh.
you touched that thing at all.
Yeah,
I tried
heard,
like hell to.
I
get in
heard,
the-
I heard that beta had some issues.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, certainly on the PlayStation. And I wasn't about to just like sit there and hammer and try and get into it all weekend. Like some people.
I did.
I thought I'd.
Did you
Yeah.
give it a shot?
I made a little boo character and stood with other boos.
Yeah.
And then I never got to actually play the game.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people were getting into the lobby and then not able to match.
That's
It's-
further
yeah.
than I got. I wasn't able to.
Is it like a 3D lobby or
Like
something?
Kid Boo?
Mhm.
Like
Was that
Majin Buu?
BU?
Boo.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
BU.
Oh,
yeah,
boo.
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now I get it.
I got into the lobby and I was like, oh, great, I'm going to be able to play.
Right.
And then there's all these other characters. They're all chibis.
Look at all these people.
Yeah, it's great. And then I just waited there for like an hour and didn't get to play.
Was
But
there a 3D lobby or something?
yeah, that was neat. But
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they've got different sections for like training mode or going over here to watch replays or something like that. I really like that representation. I've seen it in other like arc games as
Like
well.
it's kind of just the Guilty Gear lobby with less fishing, right?
less fishing and less arcade cabinets. You
Okay.
go into like a central area. Anyway, so on the PS4, I wasn't able to even get into that
Same.
area.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did that beta have any offline stuff at all? Or was that the only thing you could do?
Once you got in, there actually was a nice training section that you could go through. I got through about half of that. Except I finally booted it up on Xbox One, and that seemed to work a lot better. So I was able to get in there, do some training stuff, but that's as far as I got. Wasn't able to get into any matches.
Looks like Namco just announced this morning they're going to do one more 24-hour beta
Okay.
before release
cool.
because this thing was a disaster.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm really excited for that game. Like I really enjoy playing it, and this game is in such a good position right now. With a lot of people's hearts broken from, or like they're straying from Street Fighter, and they're straying from Marvel, and they're looking into other stuff like Tekken. Dragon Ball has this unique like mass appeal, to and it stands in a position where it can draw in casuals, it can draw in people that are really heavy into the fighting game scene because it offers a lot for both sides, right? As far as the casual is concerned, they have Magic Chain Series where you can just like mash one button on all of the buttons, right?
On every button.
On every button.
Okay.
It's like go
It's a
for
step
it.
up from Persona.
Go
was
nuts.
only A.
Yeah, you go nuts in this game, and you see ridiculously cool stuff. This is definitely, I think, a contender for like best looking game of the year. Okay, once it comes
I mean,
out.
it's a follow up from what Arc has done in the past.
I think
and,
it looks
like
better than
fucking,
that stuff.
shit has looked great then. So yeah, if
Right.
they're still working on it.
Yeah, and it's
Some of the stuff I
getting
saw,
better.
some of the finishes and shit, like it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really fantastic, but it seems deep enough as well. From what I gather, like there's more going on than just the mash, one button to do a super combo or something like that.
That's kind of been my hope for it because that
considerably
last
deeper.
beta from a while ago
They just throw you into
I
it.
got into. Yeah, I just got thrown into it. And I'm like,
Your best option is to just mash, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't even know what the systems are.
exactly.
And just Dragon Ball as a fiction has a bunch of fucked up systems that have been put into the fighting games over the years in like varying degrees of fucked up dumb ways.
Sure.
So like I'm expecting it to be like, can I stand in the air like those old shitty games? Do I have to charge up? Do I have to fucking like all this other stuff? And then I lost, and then had trouble matching into another match after that, and so that beta was
bad experience.
That last beta was a bad time too.
Yeah.
This is for people who've already bought it only, or is it?
No, it was just
No,
open.
it was
Well,
open.
Anybody could.
Yeah.
People that pre-ordered could get into this beta like a day early. But that's about it. But yeah, it's in a really good spot.
And this
to
game's
do
out like,
some-
is it next week?
Next week.
It's same day
26.
as Monster Hunter.
Okay, so
What day is
so
the
10 days.
Okay.
10 days.
Next Friday.
It's a Friday.
I'm gonna
release.
be busy.
Yes,
There's a lot going on.
it is a Friday release.
Those are two big games, and I'm.
Yeah, well, that's what you say.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what Dragon Ball is going to do.
Yeah.
I'll be playing a lot of it, I'm sure.
Yes.
I got to
In between
thinking,
hunts.
and the people that spend a lot more time looking at this stuff than I think any of us do. What do you think it would take for a fighting game to get in there and replace Street Fighter as the final game at Evo?
Yeah,
Like,
I
how
think
much?
about that?
Like
a ton.
What is it going to take? I mean, obviously, like there's still a crowd of people that are actually quite happy with Street Fighter V. It's not, it's not like some dire
Happy-ish.
fucking shit fire the way it was, at launch.
I think everybody has a ton of gripes about that game. But
Yes,
it's
but they
just-
still keep playing it.
Yep.
It's just like everything else. All anyone can do is complain about it, but they continue to play.
I mean, none of the gripes that I hear ever pertain to the mechanics. Like, sounds like the fighting is
I guess
pretty
that's-
solid.
It's
right?
it's pretty good.
And in a tournament setting, like, what else do you need, right? Like,
Totally.
All you're doing is
Yeah,
setting up.
you're not sitting there going like, these bikini costumes are too expensive. It's like whatever.
As long as the versus mode functions,
Right.
like you're probably fine at Evo, right?
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess like just in terms of just like, do you think a game could ever come out, like a brand new fighting game could come out and within that one iteration become so popular that it dethrones?
I mean, it almost sounds like what you're really asking is, does Street Fighter have enough of a built-in advantage?
Right. Exactly.
That nothing could
that nothing could ever,
too much
that
legacy.
it would take like multiple years
Yeah,
of
it would,
really boning it up at a high tournament level
Yeah.
for it to get knocked off that perch.
Yeah,
like
it's never going to be anything that's first year out. It's not
Right.
going to be something from an unestablished company. And it's going to be, I mean, Capcom's going on goodwill for the most part. The Street Fighter V is not lighting it up like 4 did.
Does Marvel have any chance at Evo? Like, is it going to be a big
It'll
deal?
be there.
It'll
Yeah.
still be there.
It'll be there.
That's the
I don't think
thing. Is like
well,
even
but I
a
mean,
game
like-
like Marvel that like is getting way more shit than Street Fighter did. Like there's still probably enough people that are just like, well, it's the most current Marvel. It's not like we're going to go play 2.
Right.
Fighting, we only move forward.
But yeah, there's a lot of goodwill kept, or people are just loyal to Capcom, I guess. Like those particular games and Evo in particular. I don't see Street Fighter going away for a while, but there's certainly other tournaments that focus more on like the Tekken side of things, and those are getting bigger and bigger. So while I don't see Evo changing, I do see other tournaments getting bigger. What it's going to take for Evo to finally change over, I don't know.
Yeah.
They might die on that hill.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's the roots of that thing.
Yep.
Are built on Street Fighter.
Right.
So yeah, I just got to wondering. Like I wonder, how big are fighting games really? How big could they be if the right game came along?
You think?
That's an oft debated topic.
Right.
A lot of people like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there.
I mean,
There's a lot of Dragon Ball fans.
I'm gonna sit here and right now and this is from very limited experience. I really don't think Dragon Ball is going to light it up to that
You
extent.
mean like on the fighting, the
No.
engine? Like
Yeah,
the
I think
mechanics
I think it's still going to be too much for some people, even
Mm-hmm.
with the ability to mash. I think
Right.
you're going to have some people that just once you get out of that bucket of like I just mash to try to fight and try to learn it, I think that's going to end up being a taller hill.
Is that a different mode? Like, can you disable
No,
the...
it's-
No.
Really?
It's
It
built
does
in-
less damage. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
optimized.
Oh, so you're never going to hang with that?
No,
in
it's just
any
like
kind of-
it's you're just able to mash out like kind of a bread and butter combo.
Oh, I see.
On these buttons, but it's if you knew what you were doing, you could do way more
So
damage.
they need to find a way because there's people that are going to get to that point. They're going to be having fun with that.
Yeah.
They don't really want to
Exactly.
advance up
Yeah.
that plateau.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of people like that. So Namco needs to find a way to keep those people separate from other people. That are going to be in a different
Right, because if they start getting matched up with people
they're
that
gonna
have
get extremely
ascended,
frustrated. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not a fun-
I definitely saw that.
Yeah.
From a lot of people. And yeah, I've felt that myself. Absolutely. But if they can find a smart way to just to ensure that beginners are just in there with other beginners and vice versa.
that's how matchmaking and skill-based matchmaking was always supposed to work. But
that's always the dream, right?
it always counts on like so many of those players sticking around instead of drifting away. I think a lot of fighting games, you end up with that situation where like, hey, the only people left playing this have been playing it. They are savage. You are not.
I bought Mortal Kombat XL 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, so like around the holidays somewhere, and downloaded it, installed it, played one online match.
Oh yeah. Anyone still playing MKX?
So, what did you hop into? Like,
I don't think I got double perfected, but I know I got at least one perfect on me.
Yeah.
all right.
And
so
then I turned it off.
So when you're looking for like an online mode, what did you go into?
I
Was
forget.
It was
like
King
whatever
of the hill. Was
whatever
it like a
the
ranked
I guess
thing?
whatever the like quickest sort of one button matchmaking option was, like quick match or
Which is
something like
probably
that.
going to be ranked these days.
I think it was ranked. I think or it might have been unranked. I forget, but like
that's such a bad.
it was
idea.
whatever the fastest
not
way.
not for you. Yeah.
But you know, it ends up being a situation where you start to wonder, especially with a game like Mortal Kombat, where you've got ranked, unranked, you've got the whole lobby set up with then other, you know, you can play King of the Hill and all these other matchmaking, but like that's you digging deep into this lobby.
Right.
You know, you have to look at it. Hey, this is a game that is now what, 2 years old?
Almost. It's like 2 years this April. Right?
Yeah.
People that are still playing that. Are
There,
just people
there's
are
that,
really
but
good.
also like, where are they? If you want to play online, are they in ranked? Are they playing in unranked because they just are fucking around and they don't want to fuck up their ranked? Like, where, you know, you start to wonder if more of these games should start to just go like, oh, we're going to have like fewer buckets. We're eliminating unranked and ranked and just like, here's one thing, just play the game.
Yep.
Would that be like a better way as the player counts dwindle? And then just like
to
do
start
your skill-based
taking away
matchmaking
modes?
and hopefully try to. I mean, not necessarily taking away modes. I mean, you still want King of the Hill. You still want to be able to get into the lobby and do whatever you want to do. Because if you've got your friends with you, which is kind of what, you know, building a lobby would kind of entail.
Yep.
You should have the full access to everything. But I wonder if at some point it makes more sense for some of these games. And I think about this with like Halo a lot too, where they just made Halo 5 free for the games with gold stuff. But I was playing it prior to that when the Xbox One X was coming out, and you load up Halo 5, and it's just this huge list of hoppers of just like, which like version of multiplayer do you want? It's like 8 things, and then there's the Warzone mode over here, totally separate.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going like, I just kind of want to look at this and see what it looks like on an X. Where are the humans to fight? Like I'm not sure. So I ended up just picking the first thing on the menu and got into something. But you start to wonder with stuff like that. Like,
that was.
At some point, do you just like, okay, how do we funnel all these players so that they're finding each other and not just like there's 3 people sitting in this lobby and 6 people over here and that sort of stuff.
That was another weird aspect of coming to MKX that late because they still make you go when the first time you launch the game before you can even start the story. If that's all you want to do, they still go through that process of making you pledge a faction, like one of the 5 factions for that like persistent war thing they have. And I'm sitting there going like, dude, this thing is almost 2 years old. Like, who is still doing this? I don't know which faction they're all
you could
in.
win. Maybe any faction you choose could win because you're the one they're playing.
There was like no indication of like everybody's in the Lin Kuei. Like you should just pick that one. I was like, I don't know. This thing feels ancient. And
I played through Syndicate over the holidays, and I got back to my Syndicate and looking at the Syndicate leaderboards, which is basically like a clan setup in that game, and seeing like, oh, there are still some players pledging allegiance to my Zaibatsu.
Nice.
like the one you created?
Yeah.
Nice.
But they haven't played in years either, so it's not like they're contributing points to it, so I cut them all. And then you start to see all these other like teams on the leaderboard. It's like, this is all dead. Like, this is all dead. Yeah. It's great that it still works at all.
But it's kind of depressing in a way. There's something lonely about it.
A little bit.
Just seeing this elaborate setup with nobody in it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for
pour one out for all
games,
the sad old abandoned multiplayer games. What you been up to? What you been playing?
Played a bunch of WoW over the weekend.
Wow!
Go figure. I'm getting back into it a little bit.
Wow!
They actually have a new patch today, which are actually a pretty significant one. They're adding level scaling to all the leveling zones. So you can go. It used to be, you know, every zone would have like 1 to 10, then 12.
Oh, is that not part of the next expansion? Is that just
that was part of
in?
Legion? They put it in so you could go to any area you want, and now they have like a lot of the zones. So now
they'll have like level appropriate quests. For you think?
Wouldn't you have to kind of break storylines to do that? Because like the quests weren't the quests always set up to send you to zones that were level appropriate? Like you'd have to like
you'd eventually get to a point though where you would have a choice where like different quest lines would send you to different zones.
Yeah. So now say you go to Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King, they're all like 60 to 80. So you can start any zone you want. You can start leveling up, and you can go to any other zone, and it'll all be like if you go to 60 to Sholazar Basin. You go 4 levels, you go to another zone. You can go to any zone you want. It'll all be 64. So that's
How does that work when you're playing with other players? Does it just
it scales to whatever
to each individual player? So you could team up with a player that's like 10 levels below you, and you would still have roughly the same experience.
that happens a lot in Legion because
Yeah.
they're like world bosses and world
Right,
stuff.
right.
So if I attack something, I'll see it as 104. 108 player will see it as 108. They'll have different health stuff, but it all kind of like it'll proportionally do damage. So if I do 20% damage, that dude does 20% damage. He'll do more raw damage, but that monster will still be 40% down.
Right.
It's actually, I was really skeptical about Legion, but it worked out really well. And now they've gone back, and it's not even live yet. It's going to be live at 3 p.m.
Does that feel like it cheapens? Because I noticed it playing Destiny 2 because they have the public areas, and like you can be level 1 next to a level 25, and you're still kind of both effective against an enemy. At some point, does that just cheapen the leveling experience even more? I feel like that's the thing I always looking at WoW.
I think it's a practical solution to a problem that, I've been leveling up a hunter, and you get to like level 45, and there's only so many zones. You have to go fucking all the way to like the southern end of Kalimdor. It's a long flight to get back in there, back for Stormwind. So it's a practical solution to that kind of problem. And also, like leveling the game is very rapid to get to max level, and max level is where the end is, and that's where everybody spends most of their time. So this is kind of like,
hey, they just want to make this process fun. You do it how you want to do it. You'll end up in the
go
same
to zones
place
you
at the
want
end.
to, because some zones are kind of fucking boring.
And at this point, this many years in, you've probably seen
A
all
lot
this
of
stuff.
most people who are playing now have played all this stuff, and they know where they want to go. Like if I go through my character, I have a 66 warlock. I don't want to do the Burning Crusade stuff anymore. It was redone a lot in, I don't even know if Cataclysm touched it, but a lot of those zones are just kind of really spread out, and like you can't get a big group of mobs. I want to go to straight to Wrath, and I can do that now.
Does this mean that you could play? Because like I'm trying to think. Maybe this is This is obviously super old information, but like you would get drops out of some of the low level stuff that you would then have to replace eventually. Yeah. Does this mean if you were a high level going back to those areas, you could get high level versions of low level of what were once low level drops?
I believe so. Weird. The like when you do Legion, the way I'm assuming this is all works as it is in Legion. If I make one character and I start off in the Stormheim, I'm getting rewards for 101 level characters that are basically 101. I can use everything I get.
Yeah.
Even if I start the other character, and then I move over to Valshalar at 108, I start getting 108. So all the rewards are scaled to your level.
Okay.
So you can no longer, and also I think a lot of the rewards they've went back and redid a lot of it. You can't get quest rewards that don't apply to you. So everything you pick up for the most part can be used by you. So it's a big change. I'm really curious to look into it. And also I've been playing a lot of last night I went into the Horizon expansion.
Oh, I was just about to ask if you played some more of that.
Yeah.
I've been 2 weeks running. I've been promising you we would talk about Horizon, and then I proceeded to not play any Horizon over the weekend.
You were not joking. That first little bit, it's ass kicking. It's really
What
tough.
level are you?
I was pretty close to max level. I think 45 or so.
Oh, is that the max?
I don't think there's a max level because they actually added a huge talent tree, like another 8 skills
in the expansion.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
What sort of stuff?
Breaking down stuff in your inventory to make metal shards without having to go to
I've had that since the beginning of the game because I just started playing it.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's part of it.
That's
definitely new.
I didn't even know those were new skills.
And then a bunch of mount stuff, which I never got the skill to summon a mount without having to override something. So those are not super applicable to me. But you could loot stuff without getting off your mount and stuff like that. But there's a new enemy called a Scorcher that is just this huge fire-based creature. A lot of oddly enough, for being an ice zone, a lot of the creatures have fire powers. And I played for a couple hours last night. Yeah. It's pretty tough. Like I haven't played that game since it came out in February, and it's definitely difficult to get back into the hang of things. But also,
just a lot of muscle memory that you
and also trying to just realize where to hide and when to run and everything like that. But also you can't really override a lot of things because they have a new demonic kind of modifier on the enemies where they have all this black stuff going at them, so you can't override them. And most of the stuff I did in the old world was overriding stuff and making them go fight each other, but you can't really do that very much.
Man,
it's that game is really really amazing to me, and I think the expansion is coming. Seems like it's going into some new places. So
how does it look? I saw some people saying
it looks great.
Like they stepped it up. I mean, it's not like the base game.
The snow is amazing. Like leaving paths in the snow and everything like that.
They didn't. Is there story stuff here? Is it
is it integrated? It doesn't take place after the events of the first game, right?
You're supposed to be able to. It's supposed to be kind of a side. There's like another. The only complaint I have so far is that it seems like there's another kind of enemy that is corrupting monsters and this game, same kind of thing. So
I actually saw some. This is just message board chatter, but I saw some people saying like they subtly changed the ending of the actual game if you finish the DLC first, like just like sounded like some lines of dialogue that refer
just
to what you
integrate
did
it.
and stuff like that. So.
yeah, I've definitely. There's a point in Horizon where you get a new lance from one of your friends, and it's more powerful than the one you start with. And they reference one of the characters immediately references like, "How did you get that thing?" So it definitely has commentary on what you've already done. I assume that DLC came out so much longer after the game came out that I assume they are assuming that most people have already beaten the game, but
and they have to account for that weird end game armor stuff too.
Yeah,
like if
no,
you
they
got
don't.
all the collectibles.
I already have. I have it, and
it's like, is it like way overpowered for that area?
it's pretty powerful, definitely. But there are some little tree stalks that will override it, and I think they'll send out a pulse that will like shut it down.
Okay.
But you said you still had trouble with that first fight, right?
The Scorchers are really tough.
Yeah.
They're not easy. There's the first fight, you climb up that cliff and you see an enemy. That is not the real tough enemies, and there's worse. coming along.
Jeez. I didn't get past that. I went there at like level 32 because they say the quest recommends level 30, and I went there at 32, and that thing fucking obliterated me. I was like, nope, not doing this.
The thing to do a lot of those things is get your tripwire stuff and just lay down shitloads of those, and it just like call it out, and it'll come.
Yeah, that thing. The problem I had was how fast that thing charges you and from how far away. Like I could never get my bearings enough to like use a potion because it was just constantly knocking me down.
Roll dodge a lot.
Yeah,
and if you don't have the special armor, it's worth going back and getting it. Maybe.
Definitely don't have that.
The only problem, some of the parts to get the special armor are kind of tough to get if you don't get them the first time through. But no, I'm looking forward to playing more. That game is.
After I finished that game, I definitely thought for a little bit like, I should go back and get the special armor, and I was like,
oh, is that not something you like? It's the thing you encounter early on.
You encounter it early on, but it becomes like a series of collectibles.
That's not something you just naturally get in the course of the game. No, interesting.
You have to go. It's really, really powerful.
You have to go out of your way.
Well, you see most of the zones where the little collectibles are, but there's some places that are, I would say, difficult to get back to if you don't see it the first time. But I've been playing a fair amount of that. Not really a huge amount else. Like I've been at home. You'll love me for this. I started. I got a program to Bitcoin mine with my 1080 Ti.
What?
Just let it run.
Okay.
And it immediately said like, oh, your daily intake is going to be like $13. And I was like, cool, I'll take $13 a day just from letting my video card run. And I think the Bitcoin price dropped like $5,000 over the weekend. So now
I think I saw it was like down to like 13K this morning.
I think 11.8.
Really?
It dropped 20% this morning. Yeah. The headline I read.
I saw some discussion of the prices falling. Yeah. People saying like, this could be it. This could be the.
I got it at the worst possible time. I'm not getting in or anything like that, but there's this program that I got. I'm not going to name it because lots of people think I'm advertising, but it basically sells your processing power to people who want to buy it, and it pays you in Bitcoin like increments. So I have a feeling everybody else is like mining, all these other weird stuff that are highly profitable, and you're just paying you Bitcoins.
I mean, how much are you spending in electricity?
Very little for it's running at
max.
It's 20 degrees C off the max of what the video card should be. Like it's not.
I guess the 1080s are pretty power efficient. I guess
I'm not at home 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day, so just let it run and get even $5 a day.
Yeah, sure.
Pay for lunch or something like that. So
I've got a friend of mine that actually put 10. Not 10. He's got 6 1080 Ti's in one machine.
Part of the fucking problem. Meanwhile, people that want to play video games can't.
I was reading a message board thread this very morning. People saying like, I cannot find anything better than a 1050 right now. Like this is fucked.
I mean, I've had this video card for like a year, and I think if I sell it used, I could get like $300 more than I paid for it new.
Jeez,
that's more than $5 a day.
Yeah,
that's true.
But if it's sitting there, whatever. I don't. My long-term faith in the economic systems of the society are shaken in a lot of different ways, not just for Bitcoin. Like I don't think my stock plans are going to be there when I get out of 65. But if I can start putting down some, so I'm not learn
how to be handy with a knife.
Yeah, I'm not playing games because I'm doing this thing, but it was a weird little thing to. It's pretty easy to set up if you're interested in that kind of thing. Okay. But yeah, the only long-term, I'm not really concerned about an extra 10 cents in electricity. It's more the long-term effect on video card running at 100%,
Yeah, right.
24/7. Like, is that gonna hurt it?
Not
But
great for the lifespan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you remember how much like the price going around is for a single Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
But do you remember how much those were when
It
they
was
first came out, when they first debuted?
10 cents.
Yeah,
It was-
like next to nothing. Yeah.
Like you could have put $1,000 into
Definitely.
Bitcoins.
You'd be a fucking
Bitcoin.
mini
Yep.
million
You know,
dollars.
you'd be a gigantic fucking millionaire if you would put $1,000 into.
like if you could get your transactions through the blockchain in a timely manner.
Yeah, that's the thing.
which-
What the program I'm using, they charge you the fees off the top, and also the transaction fees to get it out into cash. Is apparently pretty rough. So I'm just, it's not I'm not getting big into it. I'm not going to buy
So
more.
it's a
Bitcoin.
fun experiment.
Yeah,
like
just whatever.
when Bitcoin first launched, I actually did spend a little bit of time investigating it, and I was like, I should set this up. I did the folding at home thing, but hey, cancer, whatever. What about money for me? And I was like, this is no real money. This is not real money, and I kept doing the folding at home thing instead because I was contributing to a team, and I was like, we got to get these numbers higher.
Yeah.
And
It's silly at this point, but it's weird because I am the thing going into my thing is not cash; it is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin, goes way up in the future, hey, who knows? At this point, I believe anything about that shit. Like
it's
it could
fucking who knows what
it could
is.
all be one huge scam. It could be the
It's
Illuminati running it from
well,
behind the scenes. I don't know.
It seems like something that like my guess right now is that the people that are in the middle of like I got into this at the right time and I'm getting out at the right time. I mean that's with anything, right? Is they'll make the right amount of money. They'll make a whole bunch of money and then someone's going to get left holding the bag.
Yep.
Whether it is on the energy front when like global warming consumes us all, or when the currency crashes because people realize what that energy impact is, or I don't know, or some other catastrophic thing 3 years from now that sinks all of cryptocurrencies, or the idea that this is all run by some
Shadowy cabal.
shadowy fucking thing that is just gonna like, oh, thank you for all the money, we're extracting all of it out of it, including yours, as it turns out. So see ya.
The big thing is the hacking of like exchanges, which always sound like with the Mt. Gox thing got like they just stole hundreds of millions of dollars worth of other people's money, and like, hey, nobody knows who did it. Whoops.
That was completely unaccountable.
I don't think
it's anonymous. It's an anonymous currency.
yeah.
That's kind of the whole point of it, right?
But you might be able to see who accessed like who
you
got into
can't.
servers
Well,
and
yes,
shit
yeah.
like
You
that.
could track it down that way. I guess.
people have there's many stories of people stealing like tens of millions of dollars and they're just like poof, vanished.
Yeah.
So I'm not betting my future on this at all. This is not my part of my 401k. I'm not going to put this into mint.com as a separate. If it can pay for my
That's been
lunch.
the really crazy thing is seeing people that are just like, oh yeah, I took out like we did reverse mortgage, we did this, we did like I'm buying. I just want to buy Bitcoin with my credit cards.
It's like Boiler
You're
Room
like,
2 is going to be all about Bitcoin or something like that. Yeah, I mean, if I can get $100 a month, cool. That's all. That's all I really care about now. If I don't, like I said, over the weekend I installed this thing on Friday. It was like it has like a daily estimate of your output. It was like $13, and over the weekend, as the price of Bitcoin goes down, it's like 7, 6. And I'm sure on top of fees, I'll get like half what I'm actually making. But hey, my video card's sitting there all day. It's not doing anything. So it's a new game. I'm stock speculation.
does it have 21.9 support?
What was that?
Does it have 21.9 support? The miner?
Oh, the miner. Yeah, it does.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Now I'm on board.
What I really want, what I would really like, because it runs like this weird DOS box. It'll tell like, oh, your hash was accepted.
Oh
blah,
wait,
blah.
wait, is it a terminal window?
Yeah, it's a terminal window.
Yeah.
It
Now I'm
pops up.
interested. If I can sit there and look at a text mode window doing things.
I would love like an old school defrag like window. You ever watch a defrag window in like Windows 95?
That's awesome.
Just sit there and watch
good.
it.
Just a nice defrag. Just
do that?
watch it.
Can you make the text green?
It goes from green to black to white. It flips up and down. So, but yeah, if it had like a defrag window, I could sit there and watch my Bitcoins come in. I'd be way more interested. But yeah, that's my new get rich quick, get rich
Exciting.
slow scheme.
Exciting times.
Get sandwich slow.
Jan, you play anything you want to?
Yeah,
Bring
I picked
the
up
table?
Splatoon 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty styling game over there.
I hear.
Yeah. There's a couple weird things that I guess is just odd because it's a Nintendo online shooter type deal that's like, wow, I wish this wasn't that difficult to do this, or you have to jump through this many hoops to do that. But all in all, it's a fun game.
Yeah. Are you doing
Splines and
the
pulls?
motion control for
No.
aiming?
No.
I hear that's the way to go. I can't get myself to do it, though.
Yeah. The game throws you into the tutorial and it makes you do the motion controls, and I wanted to throw the game away immediately. And then when you get into the lobby, you can switch that off. That's the first thing I did because it's
Not
gross.
for you, huh?
No.
I hear, yeah.
It's same way. I don't want
That
any
seems
part
wrong.
of
Yeah.
motion
I don't-
control.
yeah.
Like I get that there are people that are just like, oh, you get the turning radius, the precision. Once
it's
you get
like a
used
mouse.
to it, it's the way to play.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
We tried a little Mario Kart 8 at a friend's house the other day, and it had the motion control turn on by default for a little steering wheel thing. I never it played for a couple hours and never got used to it.
Yeah.
So fear pain.
But have you played much online with it, or are you doing like single player stuff?
Yeah,
or-
I touched the single player, wasn't that interested.
Okay.
And I also wanted to continue throwing the game away. But then as soon as I jumped in the multiplayer, splatting some fools, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still super active, right? No
Yeah.
problems.
Actually,
getting games.
I was thinking that I'd be looped in with a bunch of people that were higher levels than me, but there were a bunch of people that was level 1, 2, 3.
Probably a lot of people getting it for Christmas too, I assume.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming also.
That game was apparently the biggest selling game in Japan last year. Like, over 2 million copies. Or I want to say,
think it beat Breath of the Wild in Japan. Yeah,
I think it was massive.
They're like splatting fools over there.
It's a good ass game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The action feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you play any more Tiny Metal?
I beat the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because I came out of last week's show with an Advance Wars Jones, and so then I went and played some of that game, and like it's something feels really limited about it. Like,
Right,
Like
right.
even down to like the camera controls are too limited. Like you can't navigate around the battlefield well enough, and like it also doesn't know when to shut up. Like there's like what
there's a
feels
lot
like
of
10
dialogue,
minutes of
yeah.
dialogue before you can ever play a mission in that thing.
Even when you fast forward through the dialogue,
yeah.
it still takes a long time
Yeah.
to get past it.
Yeah, but despite feeling like slightly bare bones, like I'm kind of into it. Like it kind of scratches that itch. But how long is the campaign? Like
It's not too long. I think it's about 6-ish missions, if I remember.
Wait,
Wait,
6
for the
missions?
whole
campaign?
No,
Campaign.
I forgot how long it took. I kind of just zoned out and blasted through it.
There's a lot more missions.
High praise there.
Yeah,
It made the time go away.
I just fast forward through all the dialogue and then
Yeah.
wanted just fast forwarding through it all.
I could see it. I could
Yeah.
see it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that game seems cool.
Yeah.
I like that look.
There's not a lot to it, but yeah, it does look really nice. All right, y'all want to take a break before we come back and talk about some
please.
news?
Sure.
All right, let's take a break. Time for the news. Time for the news. Is that your news hand gesture? You
Yeah, I was
conjuring.
I'm doing jazz hands about news.
News incantation.
Yeah,
Summon it.
it summons the music.
Okay. Well, now that's out of the
Yeah.
way, let's talk about the out of nowhere Nintendo Mini Direct that took place.
Came out of nowhere.
few
They
days
didn't
ago.
tease that at all.
People were ready, let's say, for some news from Nintendo.
Maybe a little bit.
And they kind of delivered with, what was that, like a 15-minute video?
Yeah,
It's just
it was a mini.
15 minutes of Gunhouse.
That's right.
Gunhouse on Switch. Boom.
Wait, Gunhouse, was I looking at that this morning?
Gunhouse is now available on the
Was
Switch.
that, but what is that?
did
That's
happen.
that.
It's like a kind of a tower
tower
defense-ish
defense-y-
sort of. I'm going to check it out. I have not played Gunhouse in a pretty long time, so
I've never played it, but
I've forgotten quite a bit about it. So I'm going to give it a look.
All right. They announced a lot more stuff coming to Switch
Like what?
from other platforms.
Ports.
Yeah, ports. Everybody loves them.
Yeah, we do.
like genuinely.
Kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
That's been one of the
once.
weirdest things
Like,
about the Switch
Yeah.
for me is that people's like borderline like frantic demand for ports.
Yeah,
games, yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. It's like everywhere that I keep up with discussion.
Anytime,
of video games.
yeah, like anytime any game gets, I was like, so is it coming to Switch or
Yeah,
what?
there's like-
that's not real.
But even like 2-3 year old games,
Right.
Like I see people like just fantasizing about like, what's your wish list of old games you want on the Switch?
Yeah,
It's
there's
like
a lot
this-
of old games that I hadn't played.
like-
It's
it's
like,
like
hey,
this-
I would try that.
Mr.
out on the
Do.
Switch.
there's this cult of people who are just
Mr.
like,
Doe in the original.
people want games on their Switch even if they've played them before. It turns out.
Superman for the Atari 2600.
Yep. Start at the beginning.
Man, if that was on the Switch, oh man, that'd be good.
They haven't
been
launched.
waiting.
They
I've
haven't,
been waiting.
they haven't launched their classic game service yet.
Right.
So
It's just gonna be
you never know.
licensed Atari 2600 games.
That would be really good. With legal
MASH,
Has there ever been
Superman.
a good pack.
rights. Did they make a
of,
MASH
like-
game?
Yeah, they made a MASH.
Yeah.
What?
I played some MASH.
When you fuck up the operation part of the MASH game, it calls you a ferret face.
Huh.
It just goes brrrr and says ferret face on the
Uh-huh.
screen.
Man, do better. Let's have the theme song.
Yeah, let's call it. You'll say yes.
Okay, I need to hear that.
Da, 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 da.
All right. 5 new games from previous systems coming to the Switch.
Count them down.
The World Ends With You.
Hell yeah.
Good.
super
Yeah.
cool.
That was a cool fucking game that not enough people probably played.
Well, maybe not a ton of people, but the
Yeah.
people that played it seemed to really
yes.
like it.
I really liked it.
I never played it.
Did you play it on, because they released it on phones at some point.
Yeah, the phone
And
port,
it was kind of different, right?
the phone port changed a bunch of
Yeah.
not a bunch of stuff, but it didn't control as well as the DS. Oddly enough, that the touchscreen is better on a phone.
Yeah. And I feel like they said that this was going to kind of exist somewhere between those two extremes, or
Yeah.
between the two versions of like how they're going to have it control. So
Yeah, this says
I wonder
it'll
how
have
that'll go.
touchscreen and Joy-Con support.
Yeah.
It's got the subtitle Final Remix, and it's got like a new epilogue.
I
some new-
swear this
some-
time. This is the last time. Where
Some new story stuff in there.
cool. Yeah, I always wanted to play that.
Ys 8,
Yeah.
which like I find it utterly impossible to keep up with Ys releases. So like, sure, I guess.
It's hard for me. I need to play whatever the current East game is,
I guess
just
this
to
is
like
it?
get a sense of
I don't
like
know.
what the fuck it is now.
I feel like an Ys game comes out on Steam like every 2 weeks.
Right.
at this
Yeah.
point.
But
Usually
like it's still, whenever the franchise comes up,
releases.
I'm like, oh, the TurboGrafx games.
Right.
Like that's all I can think of
Yeah.
is like.
I don't know that I've ever played an Ys, but yeah, back in the day, like, it was the franchise with the good music is what I knew it as.
Sure.
and good gameplay.
But like it was up there. Maybe it was a little bit below, I guess, actually. But I was gonna say it was in the conversation with stuff like Phantasy Star and Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
At the time.
sure.
But then it East kind of fell off, at least in this country. But I guess in Japan they just fucking kept easing it up.
Yeah, I guess so.
The
Yeah.
last I played was like Oath of Felghana, I think. That may have been like 5-6 years ago.
This one is Lacrimosa of Donna.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So
Those aren't words.
buckle up.
Like I must have been crying in Latin, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think. Are they still making Tales games?
Yeah, I think there's a new one in production, right?
There's
I don't know.
always, I think, perpetually.
I'd swear I saw
it's
there's
safe to assume that Tales
that
is
there is a new Tales on the
continuing.
way.
Yeah.
I'll let you look that up on your own time, though. Hyrule Warriors, anybody?
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Hydro? Is that like a...
It is a
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule.
It is the
Oh, okay,
Zelda
okay.
Dynasty Warriors.
It is.
game.
It is literally a Dynasty Warriors game.
If they said Hydro Warriors. I
No,
was like,
Hydro Warriors.
Wow.
That's a Splatoon. It's the opposite of Splatoon. The stages start painted, and you get in there and clean them up.
I would
And then,
I would
the
play
camera
that.
sucks, and you got to get all these shines. It's a garbage factory.
Did you play the Fire Emblem one?
No, I didn't play the Fire Emblem.
That one seems like if you're going to play one, maybe the one to play.
Really?
Yeah, because
I don't know.
it's got strategy elements in there. Like
Faint praise, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Is there
have
really
no-
like more than like a regular Dynasty Warriors?
what I saw? Of
Well,
it,
it seemed like yeah. 'Cause I saw a fair amount of that game.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seemed like it pulled in a little more of the Fire Emblem. I guess you would have to be accepting of some Fire Emblem concepts for
Right.
that to do it for you.
Yeah, like
more
it has.
than
It
than
had
the basic game would,
the
but
weapon triangle or whatever you want to call it. The
Okay.
rock, paper, scissors thing.
So, like some troops are better against others.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, well, specifically
whatever.
the weapon types, like the,
Sure.
swords beat horses, or horses
they
beat
do.
swords, but arrows beat horses. Whatever the fuck it was.
Right. Yeah,
I was okay with Hyrule Warriors. It was a dumb, fun romp.
yeah. I
In the Hyrule
I get it. I just don't
universe. I know. That's fine.
Get it. Could I interest anyone in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
Only if it's funky.
Only if they replace all the music with better
Yeah.
music.
If you're new to the series and you're gonna play this for the first time on the Switch, make sure to turn the music off before you start.
Well, I don't know. We don't know what
that's the
new
only
funky.
way to-
Maybe that's what new funky mode is. It just disables all the
Okay.
music. No, I don't.
Bring your own tracks.
No. No.
That's cool. Like I would play that. I almost bought it on the Wii U.
I
when
understand that
they
people
dropped
that
the
like that
price.
game like it a whole fucking lot.
I liked the Wii game.
Yeah.
I played through that first one and never played Tropical Freeze, but
The draw is like Funky Kong's in and out, right?
Yeah.
Is that the
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think it sounds like it's just a super well made platformer. With
Okay.
really nice looking art and stuff.
but yes, there is like a new Funky Kong
Okay.
thing.
Oh, you
that
mean
I
you're
don't-
talking about this Switch release?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
like what is there to draw people?
yes.
that
Funky
have already
Kong
played
is
this game?
new as of this release.
Right. Okay.
I just don't think Funky Kong is funky.
I never got Funky Kong. Yeah.
Who
He's
is
not.
he?
He looks like a
In-
roadie.
In the family tree of Kongs?
Yeah. Which Kong is he related to?
All
Like,
right,
who's
Funky
the-
Kong.
Oh, he's got a sick
is-
bandana
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah.
and shade.
Like I
Or is it
said,
gross?
he looks like a roadie. He looks like
yep.
he should be moving
And that
amps.
fucking
and,
white
and
shirt.
cut off jean shorts.
Not cool.
And yeah,
He looks like he should be
totally-
starring in the sequel to Brutal Legend somehow.
yeah, yes.
Jack Black turned into a gorilla at
Yes,
some point.
he is a guitar tech.
He wouldn't star though. Like he'd still be a roadie.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he would still be ready.
He'd be what's the price on this guy?
They
announced like a price for a lot of these ports, or
that.
are these going to be full price?
Some of the
things?
stuff ended
list
up
I'm-
going to retail and
Okay.
showing up with different prices. I know the Dark Souls one where there was some confusion out of the
Man,
gate.
you blew the big reveal.
That was the
Yeah,
last
and that's the
Yeah, to my mind, the big deal is Dark Souls on Switch, which is coming out
which is also coming to other platforms.
May 25th.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but none of those are portable.
Yeah, but I bet it'll look better and run better.
Well, of course it will. They flat out said that.
I don't want to
Yeah.
play Dark Souls on the go.
We were talking about a UPF, and I made a mistake. I was saying that if you shut off the screen, it'll probably get you back to a fire, and that's never been the way that Dark Souls works, and I was totally mistaken about that.
Yeah.
You can probably just
You
find a safe space and turn it off and come right back to where we were.
Put it
So
to sleep, yeah.
that's pretty cool.
But what if there's Amiibo?
They didn't say any such
Fuck,
thing.
I would love Dark Souls.
Only if
That
it
would
works
be
with all
pretty
the
good.
existing amiibo and spawns bosses based on your existing amiibo.
That would be pretty good.
All right, it's going to be frame rate has always been a
Yes,
problem for those games.
They
so
got
it's
out
like-
there. Well, okay. Here's what they say. On the Switch, on the TV, it'll be 1080p, 30 FPS.
Mhm.
On the handheld screen, of course, it'll be 720p, 30.
Is this variable
But
like with
I
that
don't know. Who can say?
Xenoblade game?
Let's wait until somebody does a Blighttown test.
Yeah.
The game is what 5 years old now.
No, more than that.
I wrote about it
Well, I
on
think-
Giant Bomb. If you haven't read Giant Bomb, go back, look up.
Oh, that's right.
Life's a
Heard of
bitch,
it.
and then you
were-
die.
You were one of the big early adopters
I
of Dark
did.
Souls in the office.
That would have been like 2011 or
I
so.
think it was 2011. I think
So
is when that game.
That
came
game
out.
would probably run pretty well on Switch.
Probably.
I hope so.
But yeah, parts of that game ran like trash on the original consoles.
Light Town.
Yes.
do
Hopefully,
it.
hopefully
Light
they
down.
have. Hopefully they've cleaned that stuff up. But yeah, it's also coming out on Xbox One and PS4
And PC.
and PC.
It's really weird
Well,
choice.
whatever.
I mean,
The original-
that game needed all
original-
kinds of fan fixes and all sorts of
Yeah.
other shit.
Well,
the original
right?
PC
So-
release is not great.
The thing about the PC version that it says 60 FPS, I'm assuming that's locked, and that shouldn't be hard for any system to get to. But the problem with the DS fixed version of Dark Souls is that switching between 30 and 60 would do really weird stuff to your movement.
Switching
jumping.
did not. It was playing in 60.
Playing in 60
but
would do-
You could toggle back to 30 and it would fix the
Like
physics.
you'd have
Yeah.
to toggle back to 30 when you had to do jumps,
Yeah,
right?
Jumps, or
totally,
like
yeah.
sometimes you'd fall through ladders.
There
and
were a
stuff like
couple of shortcut jumps where I had to toggle to 30
so
to make the jump.
there's room for them to finally
Oh yeah.
I just
do
don't
this
know
right,
stuff.
but if they're gonna charge for it,
$50
that
for-
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
They say no upgrades, right? Like there's no Steam upgrades.
Yeah, there sounded like there was a bunch of misinformation because
different SKU.
somehow at first information got out there that you would get a big discount if you owned the original PC version, and then they came back out and said no.
That seems really fucked up,
Kinda,
actually.
yeah.
It's specifically on the PC. Like these other platforms, like
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
like for when you consider how much work had to be done by not game developers to make the PC version of that game acceptable for people, to then say like, hey, now we're gonna like put out in a like fixed, upgraded version of that and go with
Yeah.
God on that one. Buy it again. Thanks.
I
That sucks.
am curious if they've done anything because I know hacking was always a problem with Dark Souls 1. People would like take away all your kill your gear and take away all your soul levels. And I don't know how if they've ever done that kind of stuff. Yeah, they had weapons that they would hit you and take away your soul levels. So you would go down to like, but your amount to go to the next level would stay the same. So you'd be like level 80 and it cost like 200,000 souls to get to the next level.
Shit.
You'd be knocked down to level 1, no stats or anything. This has been a while since I've looked into hacking on Dark Souls, but hopefully if they're doing this, and that's one of the reasons I never played a huge amount on PC of Dark Souls. I still need to get back into Dark Souls 3. I started a little bit, but going from Bloodborne to Dark Souls is such a shift in
different-
perception.
yeah.
Yep.
That I need to play it more like Bloodborne probably.
Yeah,
but-
it's weird how much like those games are the same on the surface, but
Yeah.
when you actually play a lot of one and then go to the other one, like it.
Give
the
me my
muscle memory
give
is
me
so
a fucking
different.
PC port of Bloodborne, and we'll be talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
I know it'll
Got
never
bad-
happen because
bad
Sony
news for
published it,
you.
but man, Bloodborne is amazing.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
I like that game a lot too.
I did too. Way more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
I was always Sword and Shield in Dark Souls,
Yeah.
and I never ever got to the point where I could parry anything or like stun them with my gun, but I still had a lot of fun with that game. regardless.
There are things about the first Dark Souls that I still like better than anything they've done since.
Yeah, that
And
game, that world
I'm-
especially
I'm-
is.
yes, that's a big part of what it is.
That was such a weird game to play at the time. It's hard to go back to that feeling of Dark Souls. Demon Souls was great too, but Dark Souls was definitely like, this is something really
I
special.
mean, Dark Souls 1 is the outlier in all those games because all the rest of them use that hub with like individual area format, and Dark Souls is the only one where it's like a giant Metroid style.
It's a really weird game, but really
interconnected thing.
I wonder what like, lifetime total Dark Souls sells across all platforms. Like, do you think over 10 million at this point? Because it was one of those games that always like started off nobody really. I mean, I don't want to say nobody, but
right,
but
it was definitely like that's part of what made those early games stand out is because you felt like you were alone in a thing, and there was not, the huge guides devoted to figuring that shit out.
I want to say Dark Souls also corresponded to Twitch too, getting really big because I remember Twitch Dark Souls
huge on there at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it started out. No, sales weren't anything impressive. That game was sold more copies, I think, like the second or third year it came out than it did the first year or something. Like it kind of was snowballed like Witcher 3 kind of things. Where, the community and like the finding secret stuff was really really cool. Soft spot in my heart. Soft spart in my heart.
A little spurt in there.
I'll give it a roll on.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I've played 3 separate characters up to like roughly around Honor Londo, and then never finished the game for some reason. So
I'll give it a roll on Switch. If it's a good port, I think that could be another playthrough of that.
Cool, man.
It's supposed to run at 60 FPS on all the consoles. So
that'd be big.
That's what I would be interested in.
It just sounds like they're really not doing. You've said no new assets.
The word on the street. I haven't seen Namco come out and say that, but like people who seem like they would know. People that are connected in that scene seem to think that there's like zero work being done to the graphics. And the
it's kind of one of those things where there are a lot of purists about that game, and if you change anything, even like any weapon balancing or anything like that, people will fucking whine or yell or complain, whatever you want to say.
We have a game for you. It's called Dark Souls.
Yeah.
They mentioned 4K support on like a Pro or
4K on
I
PC.
believe it's
PC?
native 4K on PC, upscaled 4K on Pro and X.
Okay.
60 FPS across all.
Speaking of 4K, they put out that I don't know if this is probably not one of your stories. The Forza Horizon 3 patch came out. That makes it 4K on Xbox One.
Oh wow!
I've been hearing good things about it.
Xbox One or
Xbox One X.
Okay,
right.
And I was thinking about giving that a look, and then I realized, like, like a 4K 30 version of this game, like, even if I can't run it on 4K on my PC, like, I'd take the frame rate over the resolution any day of the week. So I'll probably just load it up and look at it and go, yep,
there
cool.
it is.
That looks real sharp.
Yeah.
Is that all they announced?
No.
Damn right.
Crammed a few other things into that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a new Mario Tennis game coming.
Yeah, with a single player mode.
Mario Tennis Aces. Yeah, it's going to have some kind of story mode. It sounds like that's kind of all they've said about that.
I like a Mario sports game.
There's definitely a hole for tennis right now.
Yeah,
the last tennis wasn't that great, right?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't.
There
have not been a lot of like tennis games.
Sure.
Like VR, if anything, like kickstarted the tennis genre again because everyone was just like, "Here's 9,000 versions of ping pong. I guess we could do tennis too."
They kicked a dead horse, is what they did. They didn't kickstart anything.
Camelot is making it.
Okay.
I feel like I should remember more things that Camelot has developed.
They do a lot of Nintendo sports stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
Get me a goddamn
They did some
Mario
of the
Strikers
Hot
again.
Shots games before Claptrons was doing it.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds right.
Give me Mario Strikers. Give me that.
Was that the soccer game?
Yeah, GameCube.
You might get your wish
Maybe.
if this does as well.
He's not done.
People
Maybe it'll
not
happen.
today.
People like the footy. That's what I've learned in my reading.
I did it all for the footy.
Is that why you keep touching my feet down here?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Mario baseball series?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sluggers.
Right.
Sluggers. Let's call it Sluggers.
That's right, Slugger.
Yeah, people seem like they really like those games. Kind
They're
of surprised
fun.
they have
Fucking
not.
fun as shit.
They haven't done one in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
GameCube 4-player stuff was really, really fun to sit down on the TV. Like,
Mario Odyssey is getting some kind of DLC add-on.
I thought it was free.
I tried to find a price or find.
I believe it is a free update.
couldn't-
yeah.
Balloon World or something?
Yeah,
Luigi's Balloon Palace.
You don't
It's some-
play Balloon World.
it's some
do you?
weird. It's
No,
some,
you do not play Balloon Fight in it, but I would hope that there would at least be some reference to Balloon Fight in there somewhere. But
yeah. Balloon World is the name of this weird. It's multiplayer, but it's kind of asynchronous sounding.
What?
Like you hide balloons or you find balloons that other people have hidden.
Luigi's big into looning.
Okay,
And
He is, yeah.
you
Go
know,
on.
well, look, it's asynchronous for a reason. Again, it's a make a mess, clean up a mess scenario.
Yeah. Handful of new costumes,
Mhm.
one of which is a suit of armor.
Cool.
Is that more amiibo? Is that the Dark Souls amiibo?
Probably.
God, I hope so.
I think that was it. I think.
Liar.
Wait, what am I missing?
SNK heroines.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Fatal Cuties.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? Tell me about it.
Well, yeah, it's a fighting game from the SNK.
It's a tag
peoples.
fighter.
It is a tag fighter.
It's a
Anime
it's
girls.
2D.
Anime girls getting all glittery.
Yeah, it's the ladies
Fighting
of
each other.
various SNK fighting games, which they did a fighting game similar to that on the Neo Geo Pocket Color that was fucking really good. Not that this necessarily has like too much lineage. I mean, obviously,
Right.
this is not a handheld fighting game,
This looks like
or I guess it actually super is a handheld fighting game.
a bit of the most recent King of Fighters engine, but with like anime tag battle stuff thrown in.
It looks
It's
like the
hard-
tags are instant, like explosions. Like you
Right.
pop into one, you pop into your partner character.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. We'll see how it plays. I don't. There's some tatties in there. They're wiggling about. There's glitter girls. Not my thing. But what is my thing is that collector's edition.
It's got
Yeah.
it's got the hat.
It's got the hat.
I'm looking at it right now.
You know the iconic hat.
It's got the Terry Bogard hat.
It's got the Terry.
But-
But read the text on it.
Key change.
Oh, the angle is such that I can't.
Oh,
Get in there. Get in there. What's it say?
It's really hard to read in this picture, but does it say Fatal Cutie?
It does.
Yeah.
it totally does.
All right.
Okay, I really want that.
I could get that and put it next to my Fatal Fury hat.
Same here. Same here. I've got a bunch of mannequin heads at home that I've got luchador masks on. And I've got a
Mhm.
Fatal
Well,
Fury
there you
hat,
go.
Got a
Yeah.
giant bomb hat.
You're set.
And now I need the Fatal Cutie hat.
They should make one of those hats with a fake blonde ponytail like glued on the back of it. Just complete the,
Yeah.
let's go all the way with it.
They need to start doing the. No, they don't. I was going to say they need to start doing jacket era Terry Bogard, like
No.
Mark of the Wolves.
No,
But
no.
hatless, just throws the jacket in the
No.
air like some kind of lunatic. Like that fucking Wolfenstein 2 scene all over again.
He needs a haircut. They also have the gross thing that I'm seeing a lot in a lot of like anime girl, like Senran Kagura collector's editions,
Yes.
is the inclusion of a towel.
It's a rally rag, Jason.
It's not a rally rag, it's a gross rag. Why do they?
I have a Dance Central towel somewhere, but I think
I
they gave
mean-
those out for different
Hang
reasons.
on, I have to Google the phrase rally rag.
You
it's
could clean your.
You just spin it
springs.
around
Spin it.
during a
Yeah.
game.
It's a
Okay.
fighting game. You could
All right.
use it to clean off your.
Oh, a rally
stick.
towel, of course.
Yeah.
Rally rag.
You know, when this game hits Evo, you got to rep the game
Oh,
and just throw
spin
the
the
towels
towel
out.
around.
You know,
It's gross,
you need it.
'cause
You
then-
got to wipe off your stick
Yeah,
because it gets
I know.
filthy
It does.
after prolonged use.
Yeah, just real. I don't know why they do that.
Because collector's editions are fucking dumb anyway.
Not all the time.
There's a $110 version of Dragon Ball Z Fighters Z.
What's in it?
Z.
What's in it?
I have no idea.
Probably cool shit.
I mean, I imagine it's just like
Probably not a rally.
1,000 more androids. I don't know. I go, what the? I don't know. Good. They're
I'll bet
selling
you
it on
there's not a
Steam, so
towel.
there is a digital version of it
Oh,
as well. I don't know if
I
there's
want
a.
them physical goodies.
Yeah, I don't know what their physical goods situation is, but there's a version of that game on Steam that is like
$100.
100 fucking bucks.
Could I interest you? Oh, load. Damn it.
What you got?
Wait, this is $140
Which one?
Oh, is that a physical version?
for the collector's edition.
Oh, okay. All right. No, never mind. I'm on board.
Spelled with a Z.
Okay.
Is
They
it
spelled it with a
capitalized?
Z.
Is the Z capitalized?
This whole thing is capitalized. So yeah.
Mm.
Damn it! Come on, Google Images. Let me see.
There's no towel, right?
Can I interest you
Oh, look
in
at
a
that statue.
7-inch Goku statue with
Yes.
exclusive manga dimension coloring?
Last time someone tried to show me their 7-inch Goku, it went horribly fucking awry. And I'm not falling for that shit ever again.
Yeah, times have changed.
Oh, I hate all the stuff that it's like, oh, question mark, question mark, question mark.
It
Stuff to be
includes
announced.
3 art boards, but it only shows you one of them. The other 2 just have a big question mark on them.
Yeah.
Sign up, give us $140, and then you maybe get to know what the other 2 are? No. Nah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess the digital version of that is like 110.
Jesus. I don't even.
Okay.
What do they include?
I assume it comes with the season pass, but there are like 3.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
there's also a level under that is like 80 or something.
Okay.
So they've got multiple packs for Dragon Ball fans who want to go in.
Yeah, I haven't looked into how they're handling their DLC. If it's season pass, like characters or stages or costumes. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Fatal Cuties.
Fatal Cuties.
Was that it?
That the footage of that game I thought looked really good.
Really?
Yeah, watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I would probably be into checking this out.
I will check it out. But
The ladies of SNK are often not my favorite SNK characters.
yeah.
But I have enough good feelings from that Neo Geo Pocket Color game
Okay.
to.
You don't think they're going to invoke that game?
Absolutely not.
Right. Okay.
If they do, then I think they will have Iori in it as a hidden character,
Oh, rad. He's one of my cuties.
which I don't know that I would. Yeah. I'm thinking about like realizing how they implemented that into that game back then.
Kinda gross.
Yeah. Don't think that flies today.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a gross feeling from looking at it.
Tell me more
I don't mind
about your gross
I don't
feeling.
mind looking at ladies.
Hang
I
on,
like
let me get my
ladies,
rally rag first.
but-
Mm.
Come on. That's too jiggly. It's too glittery.
That's all kind of always been that, right?
I know,
though? It's
and I'm
always
sick of
been
it.
like, yeah, you're right. It was lame then,
The fan service, yeah.
and it's only.
it's super over it now. I don't know.
I remember the first time I saw someone blow open King's shirt with a fireball at the end of a match and going like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah.
The
bindings, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they don't need it.
They don't.
All right.
I don't need my son to see it. How about that?
Okay. I can understand that. Man, some rotten stuff went down with Quantic Dream over the weekend.
Sounds like it's been rotten for a long time.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the news that came out was extremely ugly. I guess this came out of multiple French news outlets, which is Quantic Dream is based in France.
Yes.
But the way the Kotaku story describes it, that reports on that reporting.
I think Eurogamer was the first to kind
Okay.
of bundle this stuff up,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But yeah,
these reports amount to, in their phrasing, a pattern of inappropriate behavior, sexist and homophobic jokes, and an overall toxic environment in the studio. There's all kinds of examples in here of like hundreds of like explicit and lewd and offensive photoshops of employees in like compromising situations or with Nazi iconography included.
geez. How many? Like hundreds? Like,
Yeah,
I saw 600.
a trove of
I didn't
600
see, like,
photoshops
the actual 600.
of various employees that were homophobic or sexist in nature, discovered by an IT manager who had been the subject of one of the pictures.
Oh, don't fuck
can't
with
hide
IT,
shit
man.
from IT.
Files dating back to 2013.
By the way, don't go into my Photoshop folder, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait a
stay out of
minute.
there.
I assume, and I guess we don't really know the context, but I assume some of this is just like, here's David Cage photoshopped onto a Nazi head because boy, that guy is a real Nazi around the studio. Am I right? Like that type of
Yes,
gag,
there
right?
are some examples of things of
Yeah.
that nature.
Yeah.
There are
The other thing, like that stuff is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And gross and fucking inappropriate.
But it's like it's
It was
more,
the
more
stuff
of a
where they were
sign
like,
of,
yeah,
like the
about
environment.
it was the
Cage-
stuff
yeah,
where they
that's-
like
that's what
were
I was
referring
getting-
to David Cage
yes.
as the Sun King
I
or
didn't
whatever
even
the
see that
fuck
stuff.
else.
Like there's an example mentioned in here
or
of,
Papa.
like there are examples mentioned of David Cage making like racially tinged jokes about employees like through their faces and stuff like that.
Yes,
like just
that
real,
that example was pretty fucking nasty. Then there was like the other co-founder like kind of making unwelcome advances at parties and such.
I didn't that.
Um,
Yeah, this
or the
story.
other, I don't know if it's a co-founder, but the other like
Where is that
senior person at the company.
one?
Guys, knock that shit off.
Yeah. This story kind of obliquely mentioned like inappropriate behavior at company parties and stuff like that, but didn't go into it.
And to be fair, to
But-
those guys, they have 100% denied, and we will
Yes,
we will
that's-
defend ourselves.
That's
with
where
legal
we're
action
getting
if needed.
to is the David Cage and the other co-CEO of the company have come out vehemently denying all of this.
If that IT manager is any kind of like IT person, I know he has that all backed up on a flash drive
Right,
somewhere,
yeah.
and would be happy to share it with anybody.
And
who-
these French outlets have talked to multiple current and former
Yeah,
employees.
it sounded like the working conditions in terms of just like hours and all
Yeah,
that other stuff,
yeah.
and you know the treatment of or how. And it was unclear about this stuff, but like I said, it was elements of it of just like, oh, this is really David Cage's company, and you work for him, and people call him Papa or whatever.
Sun King?
Just like look that up just to make sure I'm
Man.
not fucking
That's
that's not some nightmare fever dream.
Think about the Dark Souls
Yeah.
remake instead.
Didn't he throw out the Ellen Page card as well?
Yeah, one of the
Yes,
things they
that's-
said was
so,
like,
yeah,
look
the-
at my track record. I've worked
Yeah.
with these people. Some
Yeah.
of my best friends are. It was like, dude,
Yeah.
what?
Didn't she have some problem with like a new
Yeah.
Photoshop or something?
Yeah, totally.
they-
Like there's
yes.
some really disgusting stuff
Yes.
involving her.
like for
got
that
snuck into that game for no good reason. Yeah, he basically is using people he's worked with as like a shield to deflect the criticism.
Developing.
Which
That's not cool.
seems
dude.
very much in line with comments he has made in the past about
Sure.
his work.
Yeah, and yes, and for him to say like, look at my work, like, yeah, no,
Yeah, it's like, dude, we
people
have been.
people done been looking at it.
We've been looking at that thing for a while and scratching our heads and going, huh.
Are they working on something new?
Detroit, Become Human, the sensitive story of what if androids were slaves.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
that game seems to be biting off a massive amount of
That'll go well.
like a huge number of social issues.
That'll go well. Everything they've shown about it, like, that was like the PSX thing of like what some fucking huge crowd chanting to kill the robot or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it was. Like,
Yeah.
let's make the crowd. Let's have the crowd make the
Yeah,
decision.
like that's kind of
and
the
then just everyone goes instantly bloodthirsty in a way. You're like, this is a room full of raging people. Like,
Yeah.
we need to get the fuck out of here.
it's kind of the double whammy of the story to me is that A, the culture in the studio sounds like toxic and unpleasant and shitty.
Mm-hmm.
B, they're making this game that is tackling all these subjects that should be handled with care and sensitivity. And yet these are the conditions the game's being made in. Like, who knows how that thing's going to come out? Like, it's
I feel like they've shown enough of it now where you get a, and whatever, we haven't seen the full game, but you get a sense of like how they're tackling some of these issues.
Yeah.
And the answer is not great.
oh yeah. The appearances are not good so far.
Yeah.
But, just, some benefit of the doubt until
Sure.
the full game is out. Who
Sure.
knows? But their track record is not sterling in that regard. But yeah, they're out there denying everything quite strongly. And the other CEO says Quantum Dream categorically denies the allegations. As for myself, I'm furious and outraged by these accusations, which I take very seriously, and I will take all possible legal actions to defend my honor.
Oh no!
Defend my honor.
So yeah,
Are you gonna start suing
Swords
your
at dawn.
employees, or what's going on?
yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
I'm not sure this guy wants this thing to go to Discovery and have all this stuff start coming out, but
I don't know enough about the French legal
who knows?
system
Yeah,
to.
we can't. Who knows? I don't know for sure what the mechanism.
I don't know enough about our own legal system.
Sure, sure, but it sounds like a very ugly situation over there. A Polish gaming site called Gry Online is reporting that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be D3.
Oh,
They posted some like non-update to their Twitter account for that game.
The Cyberpunk Twitter
They
account.
just pinged or something.
I almost mentioned that last week, but it was literally like they tweeted the word beep.
yeah.
But it was the first time that account has tweeted in 5 years, so people lost their mind.
That was an exciting day.
I'm really,
I lost my fucking.
Oh,
I'm
man.
really
the tweet,
excited.
the
for
tweet
that
has
game.
like 50,000 likes on it right now.
Well,
I'm really curious why they announced that so far ahead of when. I mean,
Well,
I
mean,
bet that
they-
game would have probably been out by now if Witcher hadn't been a huge hit, right? That it was probably like, hey, if
I
Witcher
don't
comes
know.
out in tanks, they're like, shit, wrap this thing up. We got to get some money in here. They're probably it's probably along those lines, but they've been doing.
I mean,
quite well,
also
and-
Cyberpunk. The game is based on a licensed property, so at some point those business deals have been made, and like that is going to get out one way or another, right? So you might as well announce
sure,
the game.
sure.
is it licensed? Like,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
officially? Okay.
I don't know what.
was that Wizards of the Coast?
No,
No, that's not. It's Games Workshop.
Let me
I
see.
Steve Jackson games. I don't know.
Talk amongst yourselves real fast.
William
You can
Gibson,
find-
Auto Duel 2.
Either way, that's my most anticipated game currently. Very much looking forward to that. So yeah, we should go to E3. And
Hey.
I want to play that.
Hey, bold prediction.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2020 is the name of the original.
Is it like a D20 joint or? What's,
Yes.
Okay.
When was this made? Because
Yes?
2020 is not going to be
Or-
cyberpunk at all
Hang on,
at this point.
dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the world around you?
Google
yeah.
Cyberpunk.
No, we're not going to be wearing mirror shades,
I'm not going to be plugging anything
Aw.
our necks, but,
but we will be totally broke
Yeah.
and living in some
yeah.
kind of fucking dystopian hellscape that's controlled by the corporations.
God, I'm sorry. I'm trying to establish if this thing is pen and paper or a PC game. I think the original
I
was
think
pen
it's
and
a
paper.
pen and paper
thing.
Any-
I
Anyway,
don't-
yes,
yeah.
I believe that's the case. Anyway,
It's a pen and pixel thing, the best bus bench ads in the history of.
that's right.
That's all we know, though. Might
yeah.
be at E3,
This,
according to some Polish website.
this Polish site said they've confirmed with 2 different sources, but they also say, like, hey, until CD Projekt says it for sure, like,
And they won't until
grain of
E3
salt.
happens, I doubt. That'll probably be like a big...
But what they're saying is there will be a public trailer, and they'll also be booking demos of the actual game for closed-door meetings.
So it's like any other game.
So that's probably a 2019 release then. Like I don't think they do
If they're
E3 demos and then ship this holiday.
I could have
No,
sworn they've said it's going to
absolutely
be
not.
longer than that. I
Yeah.
could have sworn
Yeah.
all they've been saying in the background. All they've said is going to be like Witcher 3. It's not going to be like microtransactions at the end. It's going to be a big open world. But I also see.
I know.
I'm just looking at the timetable of just like, okay, they're going to have play if they have playable at E3.
But not like public. This is behind closed doors.
Yeah,
so, right?
yeah.
So
probably, if you think about the Witcher demos, like that was how Witcher went, right? They
I
showed it.
they
showed it in a
least-
playable
yeah,
form.
Yeah, I went to at least two consecutive E3 meetings
Right.
with them to see them play the game.
Yeah, so that probably holds.
Yeah,
And then they do 2 E3s and that ships end of next year. Or maybe early 2020 at that point.
yeah.
I guess it would be fitting for it to ship in 2020 now that I think about it.
Yeah. As an homage.
That's the first time I've heard somebody say 2020 in reference to something that is going to happen in the near future, and I'm just like, I'm fucking dying to see what that looks like. Just because of what they did with The Witcher 3.
I
I didn't love everything about The Witcher
Yeah.
3, but what I did like about it is so impressive that
I know that world building is really amazing. I
Yeah,
just never
totally.
got the hang of the combat, and that really stunned my ability to
Yeah,
get into
same.
Witcher 3.
Same
So hopefully this
here.
will be. I want to slice some stuff.
Yeah,
Jeff.
I want to
ice.
see-
I want to use ices.
I want to see what kind
I
of
want
world
to-
they build and what you do.
I
in
want to
it.
be in the real world and also in cyberspace.
That's one of those games I need to go back and play on easy and just get through it because I hear so many good things about the story.
I want to bring a Pong joystick to some monks and then get some chips to put in my head out of it and then use those chips to break the ice. They're going to make a Neuromancer movie at some point here. Like that got kind of back on.
Really?
Keep hearing
Like,
that.
I mean, yeah, you've been hearing it since the book came out.
Would be Johnny Mnemonic.
There was something like there's something I read last year that was like, hey, this thing's kind of like maybe back coming around again.
I wonder if Blade Runner. I mean,
Yeah.
was made money, but not to the point where it was profitable, and that kind of stuff is always
Right.
like what people are reading the tea leaves on. So that's what I heard.
Just when I think about Neuromancer and what that story actually
Never read it.
is, and all it's, I mean, when it came out, you're like, holy shit. You read it now, you're like, yeah. a lot of this happened, or didn't, or very much didn't, and doesn't make sense now, and the things you'd have to do to that story, I think, to make it fit in modern sense. It's like how the Matrix was based around fucking payphones.
Yeah.
Stuff that you're just like, well, why,
It's all the 80s sci-fi is all like the Soviets are the bad guys too, which is
Right,
why you have to
yeah.
update it now. It's always the Chinese or North Korean or something like that.
Get back to the Soviets now, right? Probably.
Probably.
It's just about
Hey.
give it another 6 months or so.
Yep.
Let's see. Sega just this very morning announced a game called 2 Point Hospital. Anybody see?
What?
No.
It is
Like 2 dot, like
No.
2.0, but hospital
No,
instead of
no,
O? Okay,
no,
all right.
no. 2 Point spelled out.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's a reference to like a mountain range or something. Who knows? I
All
think
right.
that's just the name of the hospital. Anyway, it is very much being pitched as a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What? Why?
It's the guys.
I mean, awesome. That's
yeah,
rad.
Yeah,
but,
totally. The guys leading it are 2 former Lionhead guys who worked at Bullfrog before that,
Okay.
which made Theme
Great.
Hospital.
Awesome.
And
Bullfrog.
if you look at the trailer, it sure looks like that.
You know what? They should make another theme hospital.
Yeah, this
is
looks-
this is
like that
great.
trailer. That trailer looks like exactly what that should be.
They've been teasing this on their Twitter. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hadn't heard about it before today, but yeah, I saw that Sega had been dropping some hints about something like this. Yeah, like if you're into a cheeky British simulation business management type thing, go watch this trailer. I think you will find what you're looking for.
Cool.
I might
think
have been looking for
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Now that you mentioned that out loud, I'm like, actually?
Yeah, and it's coming out this year on PC. It's mostly CG cinematic stuff. A little bit of what looks like could be gameplay or maybe a mock-up, but it looks pretty fucking cool.
All right.
And PC, not mobile,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, it is a PC game.
Cool.
It's kind of all they have to say about it so far. But
Kinda
yeah,
all they need to say, right?
yeah, like it makes me wonder if there will be a theme park style game if this does well. Because theme park seems like the one everybody really
Yeah.
wants.
I mean, I
right?
used to think I really wanted Roller Coaster Tycoon, and then people started making games like that, and I was like, maybe I just want to go back and play original Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
Or one of those sequels. Yes, theme park is really good.
Should go watch this trailer.
Let's go.
Lastly, speaking of old games, also speaking of fucking light guns from last week, Sega is also making a new House of the Dead game in the arcade
Yeah.
with a big ass full on like theater cabinet.
What's the subtitle?
House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn,
Scarlet Dawn.
which is going to is
I read about them in Forbes.
Yeah, that's
it's
weird.
going on test in Akihabara this week.
I've always,
So we should go to Japan.
Yeah.
you know, I always think about
Another
America's arcade economy, and like the only places you really get arcade games is pretty much Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Did you know there are only like 40 Dave and Buster's in the entire U.S. Like 30 or something like that?
Wow.
And there are some games that are like exclusive to them,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, I guess makes some weird sense, but
It's always weird because you don't see. I mean, movie theaters don't really have a lot of arcade machines in them anymore.
yeah.
Casinos sometimes do if you have the kids babysitting area have some
sure.
arcade games in it. But like coming out with I guess Japan still has a thriving arcade scene, but hopefully that'll make it over here. But
I wonder how thriving it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still games like this. I mean, part of this whole arcade edition Street Fighter V thing was them bringing it to arcades too, right?
Oh shit! To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I thought I heard that at one point that they were doing like straight up location tests for Street Fighter V, but
It's
I
entirely
could be fucking
possible.
crazy.
like the advent of mobile gaming has really been big over there. The population is aging. I don't know how many. I'm actually really curious to know how the arcade stuff in Japan is going. But in America, like putting out an arcade, like each of those cabinets probably costs $5-10 grand to make at minimum.
More, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And then you get stuff like Daytona, where it's like, hey, you should network these cabinets together and play. There was a story recently. I don't know that they've actually like gotten anything out of it, but like Sega issued a software update for Daytona 3 to operators, and it turns out that the download was into all of Daytona 3.
Huh.
And now people who have downloaded that from Sega's site are like busy trying to reverse engineer it to get it to run on a PC.
Right.
Wait, how old is Daytona 3?
Like it is a new game. It is
Oh, what?
You know, it is a recent release.
Yeah. Have they been pumping out arcade games and I didn't know it because this story
Kind
also
of.
mentions a Transformers light gun game that Sega did.
There's a bunch of fucking wild shit coming out all the time now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like there's some of it is like, here's a mobile game we may put on a big screen. Here's
Yeah, seriously.
Like a
I've
light gun
seen
game, like,
Injustice, like
right.
cabinets.
Yes. There's
stuff that
there's an
mobile
Injustice arcade cabinet, and you're like fucking awesome. And then you look at it, you're like,
That's a mobile port.
oh no, you ported the mobile Injustice to. Why would? Oh man,
It's like 3 buttons or something.
it's basically because like that game was like swipe,
Yeah.
tap, hold. You know, like
Jeez.
and then it's also a card game now. Like it spits out cards, physical
yeah, they added
cards
that
that you
to-
use. It's really fucking nuts.
But you
Yeah.
compare and contrast it with like American arcades are definitely pretty specialized. You have to drive somewhere.
yeah.
But now I see fucking pinball machines everywhere. Everywhere. Like every bar seems to have a pinball machine in it. A lot of bars have
My parents just told me that a pinball bar opened up in their tiny little.
a lot of new
Crazy
machines
town.
are getting
Yeah.
made, like really expensive ones. Like
Yeah.
not just the really high end like Wizard of Oz stuff, but a lot of other companies are getting that big screen thing.
Yep.
I have seen more pinball machines in the last like 2 years than I did probably my entire life before that.
And like most of them are licensed.
yeah.
That's
And even the ones that aren't are like really weird and kind of cool. Like there's an emergency one, like an earthquake one I saw in a bar in
cool.
Oakland, and they're really elaborate. And all I can imagine, like I always used to think that like, the big thing pinball machines for bars, like you have to have some kind of repair contract, I assume. But that seems like it's a pretty good business to be in now.
Man,
maybe.
they totally made a third Daytona game.
Yep.
This sure looks like a Daytona.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just being in San Francisco where a lot of hipsters and Portland, I'm sure, has a lot of. I don't know if the rest of the world if pinball's coming back like it is, but here it's really
it
huge.
seems like it for sure.
I don't know how many different units are networked together here, but it looks like there's like a camera that points to the driver's face, and so you see the feed of everybody's faces in the like in the lineup. And
Yeah,
it's-
so like
They've been
that's
doing that
fucking
with other
cool.
games
That was
too,
I spent some time reading up on the people that were trying to make this run on a PC, and I don't think they're there yet, but it was definitely like, oh, you have to have a webcam hooked up for this thing to boot, and like weird shit like that, or it's just
Weird.
it's
You have to be able to fake that somehow, I'd assume.
Yeah,
that's
gotta
cool.
hang out.
That's cool.
because that's the other thing is like most arcade games now are like it's just PCs in there,
Yeah.
and frequently like
Yeah.
Windows PCs.
Yeah, like this new House of the Dead game runs on Unreal Engine 4.
Right.
It's that.
Yeah, so there's become this other like piracy scene, I guess, of like people writing wrappers for arcade games to get them to boot on just a household PC, and it's fucking weird to see.
I'm sure.
But yeah, like there's a new cruising game. Like Raw Thrills did a cruising Cruising Exotica.
Huh.
I forget what they called it.
Weird.
But there's a new cruising game
We
out
should
there.
go check this stuff.
This
Yeah, we should really check in with the arcade industry sometime.
this story on ArcadeHeroes.com
Yeah.
seems very. Are you familiar with the site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They seem super confident that this House of the Dead will come to the U.S.
Cool.
Although where you would find it, I don't know.
Like a lot of all of the stuff ends up like Dave and Buster's
Yeah.
will do a
Specialized
deal
places.
to say like we want the exclusive rights to it or whatever the fuck else, and yeah.
Says this cabinet is going to have a vibrating seat and air blasters built into it.
All right.
That's not bad.
If you're into D-Box,
Yeah.
this might be the shooter for you.
D-Box shooters.
Yeah.
Brad, I got two pieces of news too.
Oh yeah.
I got 2 pieces of news.
Whoa.
I don't know if we talked about it last week, but Final Fantasy 12 was announced for Steam.
Yeah.
I believe it's coming out.
I
February 2nd.
didn't mention it. I mean, it sounds like a really good. Port,
I'm really looking forward to that. So I
Yeah.
figured I'd mention that.
Is
Also,
that the news is he's looking forward to.
yeah, I know. Final Fantasy 12. They finally announced it.
The other news is that it has 48:9 support.
Oh yeah, so you can string together 3
Whoa.
monitors side by side if you want ultra widescreen. I'm not quite there yet, but
Someday, something to aspire to. Really.
I know. I'm actually looking forward to that. I skipped it on PS4. The only problem is it's going to be $50 launch, and the first week it'll be $40. But that's all pretty steep for that kind of port. But also, there's a $150 collector's edition. Also, this morning they announced Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition.
Yeah, I saw that going around too.
But they also announced a release date for the Steam version, which is going to be March 6th.
Is that the PC version or is the PC
No, the
version
Royal
just
Edition,
the base game?
Royal Edition, I think, is PS4, and it has a first-person
Yeah, so
mode.
it's got
Apparently,
a first-person mode
Just PS4?
no, I think it's Xbox One as
Okay.
well.
I've
I
got
didn't-
it on Xbox.
I
then.
kind of skipped over all the console part of that news, but my favorite part about the PC version, going to be 155 gigs of storage space, up to 16 gigs of recommended RAM. The recommended processor is an i7-770 and a GeForce 1080 Ti GPU is
Recommended?
Wow.
I have a feeling these are.
Wow.
This recommends. Minimum is going to be a lot less than that. But
Yeah.
recommended. They're talking about like 8K support. And
That's
everything.
harsh.
I know. I barely.
I'm nowhere close to.
I'm not going to run that at
specs.
8K. I doubt. But finally, I've been waiting for a long time for a release date on that. That's March 6th. Maybe we'll. I don't know if we'll take a look at it when it comes out, but I'm definitely going to.
We'll be streaming 8K by then.
Yeah,
so,
sure. 60, 120, or maybe 120.
144.
Yeah.
We're thinking. Yeah.
All right.
Don't want to kill everyone.
That was my.
You know.
I've been looking forward to both those PC ports, and
Yeah.
the Final Fantasy 12 one was not even announced until pretty recently, and it's coming out in like a few weeks. So,
Yeah.
if you're a Final Fantasy fan, for Fantasy.
Go on.
Sounds like they're doing a decent job with it. I know.
Yeah.
Like that World of Final Fantasy PC port was apparently not great.
I don't even
at
know what that
all.
is.
Oh, really?
It's like a
World of Final Fantasy was the one where you could stack monsters on your head, and you could be regular or chibi. And
Yeah, it was a
a
weird,
whole
weird
weird.
Pokemon
I
kind of
still
thing.
need to
yeah,
go back
yeah,
to
kind of a
that.
Pokemon thing.
Anything
really wanna check that
ancillary to like I didn't even play like 13.2, 13.3. Was it 13.3?
Yes, they
Was
did
the one
make,
that was
they made
just,
3 of those.
Just Lightning.
Yeah.
If it's not like a main series one,
What is it? It was 13, then it was like 13.2 was
13
Lightning
Returns.
Returns.
Lightning
and then
Returns, I think, was the third one.
Okay,
Yeah,
was the
for
other one
sure.
Lightning Strikes? Because come on.
It was just 13.2 was just
Crashes,
13.2,
you know.
and then 13.3 was Lightning. We played as one character, which is I think is the only time they've ever done that in a Final Fantasy main.
games
main
did
What
not
about
game.
Dirge of Cerberus?
Do you think that? So the weird thing about 15, and I don't mean to talk about it for a long time, but that game has been getting weird releases for like a year and a
Yeah,
half
the
now.
fishing updates.
It's almost
and
a
stuff,
platform in and of
Yeah.
itself. Do you think they'll ever make a 15.2 or something like that? Because they have to have plans, long-term plans for that kind of
Final
thing.
I mean,
Fantasy as a
they spent
service.
10 years making that thing. Like they're going to try to wring every dollar they can out of
There's
it.
like a mobile version of it that looks
Yeah.
like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. It's like a top-down, weird, like cell shaded.
It's like a
cartoon thing.
reskinned. It's like a reskin of that Arnold Schwarzenegger game, I think.
Oh no, that's there's a mobile game.
Oh right, there's a
also
mobile game
like-
that's like the yes.
yeah. There's also like an iPad port of Final Fantasy 15
Yeah.
too. So, PC fans got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'll check those out when they come
It's
out.
never been a better time.
That's my news segment of the news.
All right, thanks for news within the news.
Shit Rory's excited about.
Yeah.
Not that shit. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I know stuff. Family
yeah.
friendly. I'm here.
You guys want to take another quick break before we roll into the emails? Or-
Yeah.
all right.
I could use a refill.
All right. Let's take a super quick break and we'll be right back. I don't know if you guys know this.
I don't.
How much I know.
An email is like a letter you get on your computer.
Where do you get those?
On your computer.
Oh. If
Okay.
I wanted to send one.
On the internet.
Where would
you
it
could
send
write it on your computer.
I always run out of stamps.
You put a digital stamp on it.
Digital stamp.
send it right off. I have some such electronic letters here
Okay.
that were sent to bombcast@giantbomb.com. I'm going to read some of them now.
I love this plan.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking for this.
Let's do it.
All right.
Do we get a vote or anything, or
Nope.
just do what Jeff says all the time?
That's right.
Fine.
I'm just going to read these emails
Fine.
in a random order.
Now everybody dance.
This email comes in from Chris.
Dance better.
Quick question about speedrunning, since last week was Awesome Games Done Quick. Regardless of whether or not you're into the
Take up
idea,
space. Go.
Speed run this email.
if each of you were to pick a game to focus on speedrunning, what would it be?
Salt and Sanctuary.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
I would want to speed
That could get interesting with the shortcuts and stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
totally.
Yeah.
Min-maxing stuff and finding out which bosses to fight and not. And
Yeah.
For me, it'd have to be something without any RPG aspects, like any leveling up or anything like that. So
Yeah.
you just run through, because I always find like the
Yeah.
soul level 1 runs in Dark Souls, I never have enough skill to get past those late levels and that kind of stuff. So it'd have to be something arcadey.
I always love some of the, the one that stands out is the Final Fantasy VI run, where they can manipulate certain things by how they move the character and stuff like that, like the weird little tricks they figured out or stuff like that.
I always had a soft spot for the Morrowind run. The Morrowind run, I don't know if you recall, but you start the game, you're a prisoner, you walk off the boat, you walk a little bit south, there's a dude who falls out of the sky with jumping boots, because he's a magician, and he made jumping boots, and they fuck up, and he falls out of the sky and dies, so you can loot him right there. And the run I've seen, it's been a while, maybe they've improved on it, but he basically jumps from that point directly to the last dungeon. Like, he just
flies there.
That's pretty good.
and I guess it's I don't. There's stuff you have to do to get in there. Maybe it's glitched through or something like that. But he or she it basically kills the boss. I think it's like 7 minutes.
Nice.
So all these, I really like speedrunning a lot. I don't. Some of the really glitchy ones like Half-Life, FPS ones are always like glitching. Like doing stuff.
I've attempted some of those Half-Life 2 ones when we had.
I never know how to work them. But the one I think from this last week I heard was Resident Evil 7 was a really, really good one. Like, I apparently had one of the all-time classic games and quick moments in it. I haven't played Resident Evil 7, but I might check that out. I think we talked about it in UPF. I always wait for the end of it, like which ones are the best ones to watch. There's usually like some recap article in places, and
That's a good idea,
the biggest one ever for them, 2.2 million plus.
Raised a lot of money.
A little bit over last year.
Yeah.
I always like the ones that involve like some kind of big sequence break, and a lot of that feels like it was rooted in like Super Metroid, basically.
Sure.
But like those style of games, I think are interesting. Well, maybe less so now that the form has kind of become so established. Like it's more exciting, I think, in some ways to see some of that Half-Life shit of just like
skill
watching all
stuff.
that weird momentum being carried and flying, just all this weird shit.
I mean, Quake and Quick was the original one for me. And
Right,
Quake and Quick
yeah,
had they were pretty hardcore about they were just pure skill, no weird bugs or hacks or anything like that. But I wonder if there's an Axiom Verge one yet. Like, I'm sure there's somebody's
that
worked
game
on it.
had a speedrun like mode built into it.
I'd be curious to watch
yeah.
that because I never beat that.
Mm-hmm.
If
That's the sort of stuff I always thought was neat.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, though, I mean, picking one is way different than just appreciating them. I don't know if I had anything off the top of my head that I would really. Everything seems to have RPG elements in it now. Like even Hollow Knight, you're getting stuff, and it'd be like a 2D platformer. I could see myself doing a little bit of Spelunky, but I'm not really good at playing stuff fast.
I would like to master a no glitches, no tools, no nothing run of Volgar the Viking. Because even getting through that game feels like you're like learning a script as it is.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn everything that's going to happen.
That's not procedural. It's all
I
pre-made.
get there might be some randomness in the way that like things move or something. I don't know, but
If you haven't seen Volgar the Viking, go back and look up Breaking
yes,
Brad.
definitely
Volgar the Viking.
see the entirety of that game on the website already.
I would probably say Home Alone for the SNES.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some good strats for that. Yeah.
Go back to the classics.
Yeah.
Jan, you got anything?
Sonic Advance 2.
Okay.
2?
Yeah, 2. I saw a speedrun of that. It made my head hurt, and I want more of that.
Is that just Sonic 2 on the Game Boy?
Sonic Advance 2.
But I mean, is it just a port of Sonic 2?
no,
Or
it's
is
its own
it just
game.
a totally separate game?
Yeah. There's a bunch of like different character mechanics to just break the game to continue moving fast, and special places you can get caught to beat Dr. Robotnik in like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Desert golfing. Give me an extra.
Yeah.
Sure.
Speedrun attempt.
I saw that a Sonic Mania speedrun during the weekend. Yeah, that was awesome. That was really good.
There's a big article I think on Ars Technica about the behind the scenes, like getting that room put together and make sure all the streams go well and everything like that.
I saw that going around. I didn't read it, but
It was interesting.
it sounded like a production dream or nightmare, depending on your standpoint.
Man.
Yeah. And also the selection process, like I guess people put in like they have like 4 times as many people trying to submit games for that, and they always say like,
with the
you can't
selection criteria.
can't do a Final Fantasy, it's too long, and so they have time length kind of things, like how long you think something will be done. They seem to keep it under 2 hours for the most part.
I think they used to let some longer stuff run overnight.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a marathon thing. So, but yeah,
it's an interesting. I probably still on the promo unit on Ars Technica somewhere.
Justin in Dallas sends an email entitled "Quench Your Girst."
ugh.
With the recent spectacular San Francisco area innovation of the Juicero and its follow-up, Raw Water,
Fuck that.
both by the same guy, he
Yes, the
says.
Juicero guy
Really?
is behind some of this raw water shit.
God, I think he's a fat
he's like
funder.
a funder,
yeah.
not necessarily.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's
Okay.
an F
Fucking
something.
Everybody funds everything around here.
That's right. Ask me about my raw water investments.
Okay, well, Justin is, in fact, asking you. I was wondering if you guys had any plans to get in on that action. Personally, I only drink the rawest of waters from the creek behind the Piggly Wiggly. Got any beverage ideas?
The Juicero thing was still a year later spectacular. $130 million, I think they made
Was
or
it?
something.
Yeah, some
Or I think they sold 1,000 of them or something.
Juice DRM.
Just
Their juice head DRM.
money just poof, just vanished. It's amazing to think of.
Did they ever even ship product? Like, could you
They
buy
did.
it?
yeah, you could. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could buy that
got to
fucking
the point
mess.
where you could buy it.
Yeah.
Get a subscription to their DRM juice.
Do not squeeze these fucking.
Is there a cottage industry of bootleg Juicero pouches now?
Yeah, it's just called fucking juice.
It almost feels controversial to say this, but I find tap water around here to be perfectly fine.
It's good.
Yeah.
Same
I,
here.
I
yeah,
do
we
that.
filter it and put it in the fridge, but it's totally
I don't even
fine.
filter it, man. I
filter it.
Yeah.
I fill up bottles.
I will put my head under the
spigot.
tap directly and just go
Yeah.
fucking give me that shit.
Hechachi is.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down from the mountains.
you got people. You know,
Around
I know
here.
there are a lot of people like think fluoride's a tool of the government, but hey, my teeth would have fallen out by now if I didn't have fluoridated water. I just put them in soda stream bottles and just like I've talked about it before. And I hate to talk. My soda stream has been kind of almost life changing. Like I drink so much more water, and I don't use any soda mixes or anything. Just
Carbonated.
carbonate it and drink
Yeah.
it. I drink so much of that shit.
Have you ever carbonated hard liquor?
You're not
'Cause I-
allowed to. You can't carbonate anything
The
other
government comes and gets
anything
you.
other than water in a soda stream because there are a lot of people like
That is a
how
dare.
do I clean my soda stream? People try to carbonate white wine, turn it into champagne, and then they
Make it a little
fuck up
bubbly.
the.
I saw some people on Twitter this is ages ago saying that they carbonated bourbon. So I was wondering how that works.
You'd have to use something else other than a soda stream because it really they specifically. I have
How would it
in
fuck
my
it up? I don't
How would it
understand.
know?
when I used to be a drinker, I used to make a lot of.
You mean 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I used to make vodka sodas in that thing, and even if you finish it and fill it up with water, even that little bit of vodka that might be floating around will actually make it spurt up and get really carbonated. Yeah, it only wants water. I'm not a physicist.
How would it know?
But that
How do it know?
the other thing I've been looking
Now
at
somebody needs to make a machine that will let you do that.
It would let you carbonate bourbon. Like why?
When I had a roommate, he bought it was a glass bulb for vaping alcohol out of, and it was like
Got
it was like
okay.
it was basically a fucking crack pipe.
Yeah.
But larger. It was just a bulb and then a hole at the top.
Yep.
I think it was supposed to have like a spout on it, but it broke off. And so it was literally like fucking like watching people smoke out of a light bulb.
Right.
Where you're like heating up this thing. You're like, okay, put some vodka in here and then, and then inhale the vapors that come out of it. And I tried it once and
That would
boy,
work.
it just burnt. It just fucking sucked.
Yeah. I'm sure it would work though. Like
I mean, I felt like woozy for about
Sure.
12 seconds.
Okay.
And was like, okay,
Weird.
well, we did that. Let's not do that anymore.
There's a lot of weird like knockoff soda streams. Like there's a site where you can buy like the canisters, but they're all like cut like way cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
and they can't recycle them the same way and stuff like that. So it's a lot of like, soda stream hackers out there.
Yeah.
But no, I would never.
my kind of people.
The raw water stuff is ridiculous. Like people will justifiably get sick and die, and nobody will cry about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they're cutting it with Tide Pods. Like the Tide Pods actually clean up the water.
Sanitizes,
It's the whole thing.
I mean, that's the natural way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would fucking like just
Water with an expiration date of like 2 months, and what was the quote in one of the stories? Like, you can't stop people from being stupid, but you should probably at least try a little bit. Some health expert, whatever.
These
let
let it go long enough, they'll stop themselves.
Same people who don't believe in vaccinations or fluoride and stuff like that. Like you can only I read about it and then like sucks to be stupid. I guess go do your.
As someone who is stupid, I can tell you, it does suck.
It's like $40 a gallon too for this raw water stuff. It's insane. Or $40 for 2 gallons is what they're charging. Like the market that sells it.
Some stupid.
So it's not only being stupid, it's fooling his money.
Yeah.
It's imparted.
Well, and you get enough bitcoins, you got to spend it on something.
Please don't email me with vaccinations either, people. Just don't waste your time.
Liquids peaked at Crunk Juice. I want some more of that.
Yeah, I wonder.
Have you ever had it?
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic.
I went there. I had to go to the Spencer's Gifts to get Crunk Juice.
Oh,
that was
really?
the only place I ever
didn't
saw
know
it.
that it made it nationwide.
Yeah.
I thought it was just down south.
No, that was a decent. That was an okay energy drink as they go.
It's a good pomegranate drink. Yes. Delicious.
There's apparently Riff Raff has his own flavor of Four Loko, a neon black.
Really?
Finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing we've all been waiting for.
It's
Jody High Roller's own personal.
there's a lot of crossover between those two.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, and I would like to try that, but I've not seen it.
Somebody help us out. There's my official request.
Yes.
Here's an email from Gene in Ontario. Your highly educational stream of highly educational video games reminded me of a strange piece of hardware found in the Northern Ontario schools I grew up attending. It was called the Unisys Icon, a computer built specifically for use in Canadian schools in the 80s through the early 90s. It was also apparently at one point nicknamed the Bionic Beaver.
Tell me more.
I will. Physically, it was an 80s computer with a huge trackball that kids loved to spin as hard as possible and make a ton of noise. They were diskless workstations that ran off a central file server and had some network multiplayer capabilities that we only ever used for a game called Math Race. Math Race competition in my class was so intense that the game was eventually outlawed by the teachers. But I think it's
Stop learning all this math.
I think it's the only reason any of us learned our times tables. Other games included iPaint, where you could crudely fashion animations that would probably get you in trouble if the teacher had any idea what they were supposed to be.
Yeah, drawn with a trackball, sure.
A Week in the Life of, in which you played as a teenager and tried to budget your money only to inevitably die of hunger pangs, just like real life. And
Ramen gets expensive. Yeah.
and Cross Country Canada, Oregon Trail, except you're a trucker and can get robbed at knife point by hitchhikers.
Just like the real Canada.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of this thing, so I was
The
quite
most polite knife crime you've ever seen, though.
They're very sorry.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed to learn that most of these computers were destroyed in 1994.
What happened in 1994?
I don't know. I believe
Great
there's one.
Purge.
I believe there's one in a museum nearby that I'd love to go check
Uprising.
out, but I don't think there's any way to emulate the icon-only games.
Watch me.
Cross Country Canada is available as it had a DOS version, but most of the others don't have so much as a YouTube video.
Cross Country Canada. All right. We're going to add that to the list.
Might have a new platform for the
We're
giant
gonna
bomb.
go multicultural.
We should look that up.
Learn
We
about
added
our
the-
neighbors to the north.
We, if you're interested in editing the wiki, we added the Jaguar CD as a platform not too long ago.
Yes, we
We'll
did.
get some
Yeah.
Jaguars.
If you guys had not seen that stream, please check it out. What
was fun.
What did we call it on the site?
Spring semester,
Spring
giant bomb,
semester?
spring semester.
2018.
Jeff pulled
2018.
down like a public domain disc of games, and there was a number.
Some fun was
Do
had.
not call Norm.
Don't call
call
Norm.
Do not.
norms.
Do not.
Fun was had.
But yeah,
There were a lot of games we didn't
called
get
that
to.
number, and it actually reached the intended recipient.
Oh, I
It
don't
was
want to
pretty.
Don't want to give away the stream.
I want people to watch it.
That
I'm
Lemonade
looking.
game.
I'm looking this thing up. This Unisys icon.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, like it would probably be really hard to get and emulate those games if they ran off a separate server,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you'd be surprised at
well-
the stuff that people have like come into and been able to reverse engineer and get
Sure.
working and stuff.
I guess
but
I guess the bigger problem is if all the computers were destroyed 20
yeah,
plus
that's
years ago.
maybe the
I'm really curious.
Yeah, I wish he
what
had
that
gone into
story
some
is.
detail about it. I wonder if it's just like the school system decided they were done and like they didn't have a license anymore or something.
We're done teaching.
It ran on an early version of QNX, which is like a Unix-like
Yeah.
OS based on Intel 8186 CPU, according
Okay.
to Wikipedia.
So
Weird.
we have the technology.
I wonder
We
if
can
it's
do it.
in MAME. I mean, it makes it sound like that it is not, but
Yeah.
but that seems like the exact sort of thing that they would be all about trying to track down and get their hands on and emulate these days. That's
Road Trip to Canada. Is that what it was? Road Trip to Canada.
Cross
Yeah,
Canada.
Cross. Okay.
Cross Country Canada.
Cross Country Canada.
Canada.
Long lost computer. Let's see.
Knife point.
How'd you get in the truck? Like,
I mean, you know, you would have to get out of the truck eventually to get gas or
They're just hanging on the entire time with a knife, waiting.
I mean, they hang out at the truck stops.
Right. Here's an email from Shifty in Kansas City.
Oh, I love him, Mr. Shifty. Game of the year, 2017. Go play it.
I've heard. What is your favorite pre-analog stick controller? I have a soft spot for the PlayStation 1 controller, but the D-pad rubbed my thumb raw in the Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha days.
That's all right.
I had a 6-button Genesis controller that was pretty good too.
So let's go back and affirmatize. It's either Nights into Dreams or the N64 is the first analog stick.
The first
controller?
analog. Yeah.
I mean, unless you count like arcade.
Oh, actually, I don't remember which one came out first. Was it Knights?
We've talked about it before.
Yeah, the Knights came
Saturn,
out
the
first,
Saturn 3D
right?
pad came out before
Yeah.
the N64
it was like
did.
virtually simultaneous. So like
I mean, they were like
within
in
months of each other.
development at the same time. Whatever.
Pre that,
Yeah.
man, DualShock 1 is fine.
Anything without an analog stick on it.
Yeah, mine was a Super Nintendo ASCII pad.
Hmm.
It had turbo functions for all of the buttons up there.
But it didn't have the concave buttons. How are you going to know which one your thumb is on?
Yeah, but yeah, it had the best D-pad, and just once
Like
you
better
worked-
than the
one-
Nintendo
yeah,
controller?
Yeah, once
Nope.
you worked in those buttons, they were fucking smooth.
I have a soft spot for the Saturn controller,
Yeah.
but when we did that Saturn stream, that thing was not as comfortable as I seem to recall.
I would probably say the 6-button Sega Genesis controller, but actually probably the Saturn pad. I was thinking recently, like if I had to hook up one non-modern controller to a computer to play like old games on, it would probably actually be that Saturn pad.
The Japanese one?
Yeah. Because it's got 6 buttons on the face.
Yep.
And it's got 2 shoulder buttons.
Yep.
So you can handle a wide array of old games on that thing.
Yeah.
Those top
I really
buttons,
like
though-
the clickies of the US Saturn pads.
Yep.
But the 6-button layout I didn't like so
Yeah,
much.
D-pad on the US Saturn pad was weird.
Not great.
Just the top buttons though, those 3 top buttons
They're
above
so small.
They're small, and they're also like I said, the same thing with the Duke controller. They're sharp. They're like rounded and
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
So they hurt your thumb after you hit them enough. Because I hit buttons hard.
Well, we're talking about retro stuff.
The SES, I mean, the SES one is also pretty.
I always tell myself that, and then every time I get my hands on one, I'm like,
Small.
this thing is way smaller than I remember. I don't know that I could use this anymore. I think it's all right, though.
Yeah.
Long writes in from Austin, Texas, with another retro question. I was playing Super Tennis on the SNES recently, and I always loved the usage of Mode 7. When the players would change sides of the court, the camera would zoom into the center of the court, then zoom out while a joyful music played. What's everyone else's favorite Mode 7 moment of the Super NES era? My other personal favorites are in level 1 of Contra 3 when a plane flies at the screen dropping bombs,
That's pretty good.
and the level of Turtles in Time where you throw foot
yep,
soldiers at the
That's-
screen
yeah.
and at Shredder.
That's mine right
What
there.
what distinguishes a Mode 7 moment from
It's
anything
the
else?
scaling and
and
rotation.
rotation. So anything that was coming at you or flying away and turning.
Was the opening of Super Metroid, was that Mode 7?
There was a little bit of
like
I
the
think
ship flies-
back and
came-
forth stuff.
ship
Yeah, the
flies in and out.
yeah.
Was there a Mode 1 through
Or
6?
Ridley or whatever, the boss actually. does
Yeah,
that
that's
too,
right, yeah.
It's actually kind of like the Contra thing.
It's fucking ActRaiser for me.
It's ActRaiser.
It's 100% ActRaiser.
Yeah, it's absolutely ActRaiser.
The first one you really, I mean, like I guess Pilot Wings was technically the first one,
Yeah.
and Mario World.
And F-Zero. You know.
But
Yeah,
fucking
F-Zero.
it's just like starting in the heavens of ActRaiser and just flying at the ground.
Okay.
Like the
Yeah.
music swells. as
Yeah,
you're
it was
going.
like this
Yeah,
symphonic.
It's fucking great.
Like that moment was what proved the SNES to me.
Was there a Mode 1 through 6?
Yes.
Of different
Yeah.
camera techniques or something?
It's not even necessarily. It's like
Sprite
different
manipulation.
hardware functionality.
Yeah.
and
Or
stuff
yeah,
like
maybe
that, yeah.
I guess maybe those other modes weren't even about sprites, but like Mode 7 was the thing that they marketed in Nintendo Power as being
Blast
like,
chip.
yeah, it was like the thing that the SNES had over the Genesis at the time.
And then the 32X had it.
right,
Maybe
yeah.
Sega CD had it as
Yes,
well.
Sega CD does have it
Yeah.
because remember that original boot up has
Right.
the Sega CD logo.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
they're like shoving it in your face as much as they can. Like, hey, we can do it too.
Well, the thing is, I mean, anything could do it. It's just a matter of like,
Yeah.
if you have a dedicated,
Hardware
hardware
to-
to
yeah.
like expedite the process
Versus like writing your routine
Yeah.
to do it poorly and slowly. Let's see. There's a question from Frank. I saw that Jeff recommended Tesla versus Lovecraft on Steam, and for some reason it was the first time that a, quote, Giant Bomb staff recommendation popped up for me. Gotta say, I love this feature. Do you think this is something the crew could start doing for some of the smaller games that you enjoy, but don't make it into video content? Kind of like the video feature Vinny did that one time, combined with tightly written one-liner reviews and sprinkled with a little gaming minute.
I'm really bad at writing stuff under 200 characters, or else I do it more.
It's yes, the Steam just revamped all their curator
Yeah.
stuff, so I spent a little time fucking around with it.
That's cool.
And you can, I mean,
I don't know that we're gonna. I don't know if I've spent some time on it. If other people here are into it and want to post some updates, like I'm all for it. And yeah, I don't know. We actually did do video of that Tesla versus Lovecraft game, though. That's that got a release date. That's out. That's out the 26th, I think. So it's coming pretty quick here.
Yeah, we've been trying to tie those to like quick looks or whatever.
Right. So if we've got a video, because it'll if you've got a YouTube video, it'll embed it right there in Steam. So we've been trying to do some of that stuff. Like, it's the thing of like, oh, it seems like cool, but I don't know if a ton of people are into it, and or is it leading to more people discovering us or looking at our stuff? Like, I don't know.
I haven't dug too far into the curator like metrics or anything like that. Will it show us?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You can like their revamp. You can actually, if you use Google Analytics, which we do not, you could tie like a GA ID to stuff and get like your click out information and all this other bullshit if you wanted it. But yeah, it does do rudimentary stats as to like, and it's weird because it's like, here's how many store page views you influenced. And it's like, well, that's not really.
What does that mean exactly?
Like how many people clicked on your thing to go to a store page?
Right.
Which it's.
I just looked at the page or bought
I guess so. I think
anything,
just
or?
looked at it. We don't know. We have no idea about any kind of sales
It's not an
information.
affiliate thing, I don't
No, not at all.
Otherwise, we definitely probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, right.
Still, if that's cool to people,
It's I view it as like if it can be like one more repository for here's a way to get some of the stuff we do, then maybe that would be cool. But
it's tough to know.
It's just something I don't think about even when I'm going through Steam, and then I do, and like, I should write something for Mr.
So the
Shifty.
thing they added to it that I think will is not actually super helpful for us for a variety of reasons, but I think for other people running curator pages will probably be more useful is developers can send codes to your curator page, and so you can accept those or decline them, and so now we get like a lot of outreach from indie developers or developers that are like putting like 100 different games on Steam and going like, hey, check out our thing. And there's a text field for them to populate that is not always, a lot of the time, poorly written. Yeah, so there's that's a way for kind of people running curator stuff to kind of get a look at some more stuff. It's a contained thing within Steam, which is good and bad, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they made good changes to it that I think will make it a little more useful for the people running the pages. I just wonder if users actually care that much.
There's a couple that I subscribe to. Like
they've been floating it more. I know, just browsing around.
Yeah,
like, the curator thing will be at the top of a store page now, like before the buy button, even.
Right.
I think for some of those things. You have to follow the curator in order to see those, I think. So if you haven't, maybe I'll post a link to our Steam page on Twitter or something like that. If anybody's really interested in it, you can just follow that. And I definitely should go back and, I play a bunch of stuff on Steam, so I should go back and just throw some impressions at it. But like I said, it's like a 200 character cap. So basically a tweet. And it's really tough for me to put out.
It's a tweet, and we want to attribute it to the person who wrote it, so we lose
have to sign
a handful of characters off the front of it. And anyway. I don't know. It seems neat.
I need to spend a little time just even like copy pasting quick links and stuff like that, and just writing my own stuff too, because a lot of weird shit on Steam.
Yeah. Also, like, we don't necessarily recommend every game we quick look.
Sure. You can. I think you can
say negative or informational. You can toggle those.
Okay.
So far we've only been putting games we like in there, and I'd probably rather keep it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Andrew from Poland writes in, who says, I'll spare you from trying to pronounce my actual name. I was listening to some old gaming podcasts and realized that game piracy was an issue that was talked about a lot some years ago. Now, though, I have a feeling that it's become less of a big deal since you don't hear or read about it as often. It may be that I've mostly disconnected myself from PC gaming in general since I've moved over to console back around the launch of the PS3, and now the only PC game I actually play is League. But is piracy actually something developers are still worried about, or has it mostly become a non-issue?
It's definitely still out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely
Assassin's Creed was still the big thing. Like, Assassin's Creed had the two DRMs layered on top of each other, and it really hit some CPUs a lot, but then they didn't get pirated for like a month.
Has it been pirated finally? Or
I don't know.
I mean, I guess we don't
It took like
necessarily
a month,
hear about it unless we go digging for it. But
Jeff knows way more about this than I do, but I think
was
for
Black
me...
Flag
What are you trying to say?
Pirated. I mean, if anything, like I feel like most of what I hear about is anger over DRMs that are not cracked.
Yeah.
Like it feels like games are getting stopped from being pirated a lot more than they used to be.
Just for, I mean, this
Or
is
slow
one
down, not necessarily stop.
well,
At least
eventually,
yeah.
but like you hear all these stories about like, oh, the first 2 weeks or the first month
Yeah.
is a bulk of sales are concentrated. So by the time they get pirated, like
I
it's worth it for them.
Well, a lot of PC games are online now. You know? Like
Yeah, there's
you
also
wouldn't,
that,
you
sure.
wouldn't pirate. You know, you can't pirate a copy of Destiny 2 because it's all account based. You know, it's like all this other
If
stuff.
you-
Like,
You
it's
wouldn't
just
steal
not-
a copy of Destiny 2.
I think it's also like even games are. We talked about Z3 last year. Games ship roughly. The first launch stuff is usually pretty rough. The patches come out a lot more quickly than they used to. Like little, and that makes it very like if you pirate a game the day of, you're probably. I mean, a lot of games come out fine, but then the updates are so quick.
Yeah,
that
but also a lot of pirates are, you know, and this has been this way for decades. But like they'll package up patches.
Sure.
And you know, if there's new stuff to crack on the patches, they'll do it and
It's a
release
pride
that
thing
stuff.
for them. I know. It's not
yeah.
necessarily. There are a lot of people get
What a
like
service.
yeah.
The
really-
thing, the piracy thing that I think is like both more fascinating and like in a lot of ways more troubling is some of the more current kind of console and handheld stuff where because a lot of games are digital now, people have rigged up ways to download games directly from the companies that like directly from the servers that people that purchase the games do and install them directly. So on some platforms, like a lot of Nintendo platforms, there's like kind of turnkey solutions for this stuff that is like alarming to see. Like there's videos of it out there that you're just like, okay, so wait, you download this thing, click this thing, and then it just copies it over to some hard drive for your hacked Wii U or whatever the fuck you have. And it just goes. And it's like
the store interface, right? Like
it's stuff that, well, it's in some cases like they're you know, some platforms, they've crafted their own store interface and their own apps that run on the console itself. Some of it's like you're running a thing on the PC. Like it's fucking kind of crazy. Like you look at it, you're like, this is it's like it's both. I view the Dreamcast as like the ultimate in terms of like this is fucking bad. Shit went fucking bad.
oops.
That was one that really like economically impacted that more than a lot.
They
of them.
were already kind of
Yeah.
not, you know, going in a good direction.
I think it's more that it got to the point pretty quickly that you could just boot burned games without any modification.
yeah, that's the thing of like when you get away, and at the time, like, you know, any modification up to that point, I think was largely like you're soldering in a mod chip.
Yeah.
You're doing at bare minimum, you're doing some kind of swap trick that is crazy and not for everyone. That was the point where it was like any fucking idiot can bootleg these Dreamcast games. And
that was the tail end of college for me, and I knew people just had fucking binders of burned Dreamcast games, like they just got handed out.
And the stuff on some of these modern systems where you're able to just download games directly from them is like a step away from that, but also way worse. Because on one hand, it's like, okay, it's harder to get your platform, your console, your handheld, your device into a state where it can accept, you know, not legit copies of games. But once you kind of cross that hurdle, which for some of these platforms, it's alarmingly fucking easy. When you read through these tutorials, you're like, oh, this is like anyone can follow these fucking instructions. This is not hard. But once you get there, the software acquisition end of it is trivial because you are just pushing buttons to download games.
Right.
And that's fucking nuts. And I'm surprised that stuff
Why don't we hear more of like?
Well, I'm
more
surprised
about
that it doesn't. Well, in a lot of cases, like you're giving up the ability to reliably connect your device online.
Sure.
You know, so if you want to play online games or any other stuff, which, you know, are continuing to be bigger and bigger parts of the games industry, you are opting out of all of that sort of stuff. So, you know, you're losing out on a lot of like big modern games.
I can't spend my Uplay points.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Exactly. So I think that ends up keeping some of this stuff at bay, but it's just.
I wonder.
But at the same time, like seeing how easy some of that stuff is, it's really, it's weird to see it. You look at it and go like, man, this is fucking nuts. How easy this stuff is. Why would anyone?
Do you think it's easier now than it was?
Oh, well,
Some of this stuff. Well, that's the thing. It's like there's more work up front than there is because on the Dreamcast you didn't have to do anything. All the work was on the back end of I need to acquire these games, I need to buy the discs, all this other stuff. This is like I need to go through a process to like get this firmware and downgrade this and do this and get this thing in a state where it can do what I'm looking to do. But once you've kind of hit that point, the rest of it is just there.
Yeah.
And that's like scary
because some of these platforms still have new games coming out for them, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck? Oh my god!
I think for me, like after Steam came out with there are people who still think Steam is like obtrusive DRM in terms of you can't sell those games or anything like that. But in terms of me, for Steam and like digital downloads made, like I don't even want to think about trying to go through those hoops to get
offered
stuff
convenience.
Yeah,
and
they made things so easy.
It's never, all this stuff is never about stopping 100% of piracy. It's about inhibiting casual piracy so that only the people that are most dedicated, and those are the people who were probably never going to buy the game to begin with, only those most dedicated people are the ones pirating the game. Yeah. You have to make the hoops such a hassle and so dire.
Or just make the process of purchasing. It's way easier to get a PC game now than it used to be.
It's always the thing of just
installing
like,
4 discs of World of Warcraft and waiting for an update. Like now, just
like
hit a button.
That convenience makes it easier for people who have the money, where they'd rather spend the money than put in the time.
I know it's going to be patched forever. I'm not going to have to worry about it. That kind of stuff.
Put in the time to figure out, like, okay, how do I get this? What do I need to do?
Also,
I need to update
so many
this?
games go on so many deep sales
Exactly,
at this point. Like you can get games if you're willing to wait.
Yeah, definitely. So
aside from the ethical implications, of course.
Right. Yes.
I mean, piracy definitely still happens, but I think we have a lot fewer of those kind of like Half-Life 2 hacked release like a year before it comes out. That almost never happens anymore, which is a big part of. If he just asking about news stories about it, like
the people write news about it are writing about
exceptional
crazy
cases.
DRM or weird leak type stuff. Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
Speaking of,
it's fucking weird out there.
Yes,
and
it is.
Like there's
Speaking of ethical implications, the newer the hardware in question, the more I hesitate to bring stuff like this up. But did you see a Switch emulator got announced over the weekend?
I heard
like
about
2 days
that.
ago.
I don't know if it boots anything.
It does not boot any actual games yet. Like that's kind of the big thing. It's from the people that made Citra, the 3DS emulator, which I've never heard of before this.
Yeah, it's kind of a proof of concept.
Yeah, like I just looked at their Twitter account because I just remembered seeing this, and like there's something they have called Space Game that runs on it, which is just a real basic asteroids looking thing.
There are
like
videos
they claim
out
to have
there.
input working and stuff. Like it's not a real emulator yet, but it's like people were working on it, which is kind of crazy.
Always start at like 1 frame per second, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of build up from there.
But I mean, like that thing's been out for what? Way less than a year. Like what? 10 months?
Right.
Which one? Like the Citra or
Switch.
Oh, Switch.
Like it's crazy to see.
Yeah,
people
and
let me know when I can play Monster Hunter Double Cross with an English patch. Then we'll talk.
Yeah, and there are people out there starting to talk about the Switch's security and saying like we've got a product in the works that will
that's terrifying.
that will get you where you want to go.
Oof.
Yeah, and that system's still relatively new, so it's I am particularly surprised with Nintendo about how wide open their last handful of platforms have been.
Yeah,
and
especially because the other two have been, from what I can tell, like incredibly tightened or like locked up, buttoned up.
There's some PS4 stuff floating around right now. I have not heard anything about Xbox One stuff.
Like I know 360 and PS3 ended up getting compromised in various ways, but even then, like you said, you would get banned off Xbox Live if you did it, and it was a huge hassle from the sound of it. Like,
I think the issue these days, we talked about it not that long ago, I think the issue these days with those platforms being, not quite end of life, but, not necessarily the focus, is like the banning of people from the online services seems to be happening less.
Interesting.
And you have people running weird VPNs and stealth this and just like trying to find ways to ruin people's times who are trying to play old Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
It's a strange phenomenon. But I every time this stuff happens with like a platform that feels too new, I'm always really shocked about like, especially you get details out of like some of the hackers like that were like, yeah, we were able to kind of like look at, this WebKit exploit turns out to have worked on multiple platforms. And you're like, fucking, how does this happen? How do you not fix this shit? Like, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Intel had that problem with their chips like 10 years ago. That's just now coming out. So I'm sure there's so much weird shit in all these consoles.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is you give enough people enough time to stare at an architecture and just like how all this stuff is cooked up, they will eventually find something. That's for sure.
Yeah. Kevin writes in from Downers Grove, Illinois.
What a downer.
Woof.
Wow, it was terrible. Just repeating the word. But.
In episode 506, you mentioned that you might respect someone if you spotted them doing donuts for hours. Well, BMW is working hard to earn your respect.
Saw that.
They
8
just
hours.
took the Guinness World Record. Man, thanks for spoiling the email. They just took the Guinness World Record for continuous drifting by sliding around for 8 solid hours.
You guys see this video?
No, there's a link to it in here.
One set of tires?
Yeah.
The drift covered 232.5 miles. Incidentally, the previous record was 89.5 miles, so I guess they're hoping to keep this one for a while. The car, a 2018 M5, couldn't carry enough fuel to complete the entire drift, so they had a second car pull up alongside and refuel it mid-slide 5 separate times.
Both drifting.
What?
It was crazy.
That's
Really?
fucking cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it would have had to drift.
Yeah.
There's a GIF of it working out, and they're on headsets doing it, and also they made a specialized track. We're constantly sprayed with water, like a bunch of sprinklers spraying all over it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a dude with like a goddamn gas tank going up, 2 cars sliding next to each other, one dude holding out a gas tank, filling it up, and like tapping them
I
off,
see that.
and just 8 hours straight drifting, man. I guess at some point it just becomes like muscle memory, just holding it.
Imagine being the other guy having to synchronize your drift with
It
the
looks
first drift.
really complicated, but it was pretty cool.
Huh.
Team drifting is a thing. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's,
okay, sure. Yeah.
I want to see that at a slideshow. And
Yeah, they don't mention anything about they don't mention anything about the tires.
Can you imagine the sound?
Really?
Well, so if they were constantly watering things down, that might
maybe.
help.
Sure.
Okay.
With it.
I didn't click through to
I want to see how tight that circle was.
Full
Like, I
stories.
want a time lapse, like an overhead shot of the entire thing.
There was a few GIFs on Imager a while back, and it was a pretty sizable. It wasn't huge. It was maybe I don't know, maybe the size of 50 yards from end to end. I would say something like that. Just maybe a little. It was interesting. I recommend looking up. It was pretty cool.
All right, last email. Daniel from Los Angeles. Are you guys prepared for the intersection of weed tourism and E3 tourism? The ER is going to be overloaded with assistant GameStop managers from Kansas who are pretty sure they're going to die. I hadn't really thought about that.
Weed
Maybe it'll make the show floor a little bit easier.
Sure.
Recreational stuff here has been plagued by huge lines, is what I know. There's
Really?
like 5 dispensaries in the city that went open to anybody, and I've heard like 2-hour waits and stuff like that.
Jeez.
These are the
couple
people who
nearby. Like there's one on my walk home. I never see a line there.
I mean, if you walk into like, and we're gonna have to adjust the moderation rules for talking about weed apparently, because now it's legal. But like, if you walk into a store and not knowing what you're doing, hopefully somebody will walk you through a first time edible experience or something like that. But
I wonder how many people fit that description of just like, well, now that it's legal, I'm going to give this weed a try, as opposed to just like,
a friend of mine had a bottle of it was like THC in a dropper, and he was just dropping it on a chip and eating that. And said it took like an hour or 2 to really kick up, and like that is dangerous. Like I would not.
Edible stuff?
I don't like
You
weed
mean it was
very
like
much.
concentrated?
Yeah, it's like THC extract or
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
And if you don't,
weed tech is fucking.
I'll be frank, I don't like weed at all, so I don't really know. If I was trying to do that kind of thing and had like, here's a bottle of shit, pour it on food and wait 2 hours, I would probably either feel nothing or feel really weird something.
Yeah, or you eat the chip and then just like go about your business, forgetting about it, and then like 2 hours in, you're like, oh,
That was the
this is hilarious.
yeah. I don't know if people coming to California for a conference are going to be dipping too much into the recreational stuff. We'll see where the
I think that
You'd
definitely
be surprised.
there was some tourism and like definitely people going to Colorado and stuff like that once it got legal.
Yeah.
Just to be like, this is crazy.
Like
I can't
I
believe we can
definitely,
do this.
I definitely know people every time we go to PAX, just like
Oh, right, because Seattle's,
beeline
yeah.
for a dispensary as soon as we get there.
well, I have a lot of weird Burning Man friends, and one of them always has he's before this year is always advertising for like, I need a couple discreet friends who know what they're doing, come up to the woods and maybe do a little like a pruning grow operation stuff. And now I believe the part of recreational weed here is that it has to have like a chain of custody from like a established grow house kind of thing. So a lot of this weird backwoods there's always going to be illegal weed, I'm sure, but a lot of it's going to be kind of turned into you're not going to be able to get as much profit as you used to. So the economy is going to be really good for it, but also this weird underground economy of weed
there were a lot of people that were involved in grow ops and stuff like that were like actively fighting against
same thing with
legalization
pornography
and stuff, where they were like, no, we make way more money if this is this exact way.
The porn people have always fought not fought against making it more legal, but like the more taboo it is, it's always been better for them. It's a weird, it's kind of, I don't want to say the wild west. I mean, Colorado's been doing this for a long time, But California is a huge market, so I don't know. E3, I don't see it being a huge problem or anything like that. But
I really hope a bunch of people don't show up baked to the show floor. It's going to be.
I mean,
it's
more
fucking
than
hard enough.
already are.
It's hard enough. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
but weed has not been hard to find in California, so.
Right.
It's hard enough to get around that show floor as it is.
I don't think it's going to be much of an impact.
I'll get some bean bags like packs. It'll be fine.
I mean, Weed 3 happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're in a post Weed 3 society anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cross that bridge. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's it for emails.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for being here again, Matt Rory.
Yeah, no worries. Ben will be back sometime soon.
2 weeks
I'm just
consecutively.
filling up the chair.
Yeah. I enjoy
Keeping it
having
warm for 'em.
I enjoy having you here.
I enjoy having me here.
Great. We're coming back from the long weekend, so
Yeah, we've not had a production meeting.
Yeah, I'm
so,
not quite sure what we're
but
doing
we,
this
we
week.
got to look at some Street Fighter.
yeah, that's out.
You got that footage of that other game.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could have talked about that.
Yeah.
Embargoes.
When is Monster Hunter coming out?
A week from Friday.
26.
next
I thought that was
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Both.
Same day.
Wow. All right.
yeah, those are both the same
You're
day.
gonna be like, there's a.
I am talking about yet a different game.
Yeah, something else.
Okay.
Uh,
There's a. Just imagine there's a part in Infinite Jest where this guy is waiting for his, speaking of weed, waiting for his weed dealer to show up, and his phone rings and his doorbell rings at the same time, so he just stands there, he's paralyzed. Just imagine you between Dragon Ball and Monster Hunter next week, just unable to pick one.
I'm going to put in for some time off.
that's the thing to do.
No, we need you here more than ever during that period of time.
This is your moment, man. This is your
Yeah.
finest hour.
I'll come in for the quick look.
Time for you to shine. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Then we'll have some stuff this week. Get TBD.
I might do I've been thinking about doing a WoW stream because I don't know, it was a long time. All the LFRs, talked about it last week. I apparently inadvertently spoiled some of the end of expansion stuff, but now that all those are out, I think I might try to do some of that this week after hours. So
Or during
I need
hours.
to get back to Garfield at some point
Yes,
here.
of course.
This is probably not the week for that.
Pressing business.
But yeah,
Unfinished business.
I have a date with Destiny.
It's always
Lasagna
Monday somewhere.
Destiny. Yeah, no, it is always Monday.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We will see you back here next week for another edition of the Giant Bombcast.